Heck. All right. Let's try it again. Let's try it again. Heck. All right. All right. Let's try it again. Let's try it again. All right. So we're gonna turn the volume down on the system, and we are live. Hello. All right. Let's make sure that our audience can hear us. All right. Everybody, can y'all hear, can y'all see? Are y'all able to see that we are on and we are live? Hello. All right. So there's a slight delay if you guys are watching this on YouTube. So there's a slight delay. So just listen to my voice. All right, we good? All right, good. All right, welcome everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm your man KTJ, and this is our show, Love Coach Sessions Live, and we're getting into it. We've got a great talk here tonight, and I went and brought my friends here to have the conversation here tonight. So I got everybody here. Let me start with Cleisha. This is Cleisha. She's got a YouTube channel. Her YouTube channel is called Closing Open Wounds, and she gets into it. She got couch discussions and conversations about her life as a married woman, as a single woman, as an engaged
Mhm.
woman, as a divorced woman,
All that.
all
All
that.
that.
And I'm glad to have her on the stage. Cliche, how you doing tonight?
I am feeling really, really good. Happy to be a part of this panel. Let's get it.
All right. And I have T Money is in the building. She's always ready to get this get this thing to happening. So welcome to the show. She's a business owner. She's a love conversationalist. She loves to talk about love. So I'm glad to have you on the stage. How you doing tonight? Uh-oh. Unmute.
Hey, sorry about that. I'm doing fine, having a great night, ready to talk about it. Been out here in these streets gathering up some information, so just ready to roll.
Okay. All right. And Mr. Kelly Cole, what's going on? How you doing, brother?
What's good, bro? Glad to be in the building.
Yes. Mr. Kelly Cole is the author. He's the author's coach. He's got a great podcast. Tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I didn't get the introduction like everybody else, but it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. I go by the publisher. I own a book publishing company. Getting ready to celebrate 18 years. The jerseys you see on the wall are a lot of my clients. But the podcast he's talking about is me and my wife have a podcast called Finally One Podcast. We went from teenage parents to married in our 20s, divorced in our 30s, remarried each other in our 40s. So that's what we talk about.
All right. Wonderful.
Yeah.
I've got Kenya Keepsake. She's a therapist, one of our she's from the West Coast on the west side. It's still light where she is, and it's pitch black here on the East Coast. Kenya, how you doing tonight?
I am feeling very productive and excited to be here. I'm exhausted, but I always come alive when I'm on this channel right here with you guys because I know it's still sunny, but like you said, it's dark there. But thank you for having me.
Yes. Can you tell the people a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Oh, I am a relationship coach slash personal growth strategist, and I help people unlearn and relearn relationship skills through healing and self discovery. So, this is May. I have been focused on Maybe Healing Month, and every Friday, not just in May, but every Friday all across the year, I have Fellas Friday, and I focus just on my fellas and their mental, emotional, physical, all that health because you guys matter to me. And I also have a podcast where I only interview my fellas because I want to hear you guys uninterrupted.
I like that. That's
Mhm.
really rare. Yes.
I know, right?
All right, great, great, great. Tiffany Taylor, my girl. I was on her show on the what's it, Kenny Burns show. Yeah,
Kim Burn Show. Yes.
yes, yes, yes. Tiffany, tell the folks about you, what you do, who you serve, what you into.
Yes, it is such a pleasure to be invited with this esteemed panel. My name is Tiffany Taylor. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, sex therapist, and a pleasure and intimacy coach. And actually work primarily with women who have actually experienced sexual trauma. And couples help reconnect their bodies, reconnect with their power, and just enhance intimacy.
Very nice, very nice, very nice. We got the right folks on the stage tonight. You hear me? My man Jeffrey L. Miller. Hey, it is L, right? It's L.
Yes, sir.
You know that there's multiple people named Jeffrey L. Miller. I didn't know that.
They're all great people too.
Nice, nice. What's going on, good brother? How you doing tonight?
Man, very well. Thanks a lot for having me on the show. It's been a minute for me. I've not been on radio and podcasts and stuff like that for almost 5 years now. But
Has it been that long? Wow.
yeah, but don't worry, I'm gonna shake the rust off. You know how we do it. We're gonna bring that funk like we always do.
Very nice, very nice, very nice. I got your one sheet, but tell the folks a little bit about some of the work that you've done and the things you're passionate about.
Good deal. I am a certified professional life coach, and I specialize in working with men, helping men be better husbands, partners, lovers, and fathers. When I was doing radio, my main thing was close your mouth and listen. You ask me some questions, I give you some answers from a man's point of view, and that primarily dealt with that old school type of masculinity, that healthy masculinity that comes from a place of confidence, a place of grace, but not humility. I think it's the height of arrogance to expect someone who is confident and successful to be humble just to make you comfortable. I'm gracious. I'm going to treat you with courtesy and respect. I am not humble. And that's one thing that I work with men on developing their graciousness, not necessarily humility. That's
All
it.
right. Good stuff. Good stuff. And that's I'm glad to have you tonight, brother. I'm glad to drag you out of your little retirement or whatever it is, little hibernation you got going on. And I'm glad to get you back on the air. All right. Uh, uh, we got Dr. Hazel J is in the building. Grief transformation, lifestyle coach. Good to meet you. Good to have you here again. I love having you on the show.
Well, I can introduce myself.
Please. How you doing tonight?
Oh, hello, everyone. I am Dr. Hazel J, Grief Transformation Lifestyle Coach, and I'm just super excited to be here. And what I basically do is I specialize in blending wellness, creative arts, and culture responsive healing to help break intergenerational traumas within families so they can create a healthy family relationship, whether that's single parents, divorcees, dysfunctional families, whatever that is, helping to create healthy families.
All right. All right. Great stuff. Great stuff. And we got my man Marcus Witherspoon Sr. in the building. I think he's in the building.
Yep, I'm here.
All right. You coming on cam?
Yeah, I'm not on cam yet.
No, you gotta hit the button. You gotta hit the let's see.
I'm hitting the button.
Let me just ask you. Go ahead.
Okay. I just hit it.
All right. It's
There we
coming.
go.
There you are. How you doing tonight?
All is well.
All is well. All is well. All is well. All right. My brother Marcus. Marcus has known me longer than I think probably I've known myself.
Yes, sir. Yes,
we go all the way back. All the way
all
back.
the way back. Absolutely.
Yes,
Glad
sir.
to be a part.
Yes, sir. Tell the folks who you are, what you do, and who you serve, who you into. What do you do?
I'm Marcus L. Witherspoon Sr. I'm a PK. Been in church all my life. musician all my life. I traveled with the late, great Rance Allen for 35 years. God rest his soul. And pretty much been in the music business all my life, helping build the kingdom of God. So pretty much heard and seen it all from a church point of view. And I guess you can say what we get ready to talk about from a worldly point of view.
Yes, yes, yes. All right, glad to have you on the stage here tonight. So, yeah, well, I got a couple of things to share here tonight, and just to kind of like get the ice broken. Let's get into this conversation here tonight. Let's see. Mm-mm. All right. Is it? Let's see. Yeah, there's a delay on it. All right. Let me see. Y'all let me know if.
Okay, maybe somebody's.
All right. So could y'all see that was on the stage on the screen?
Yep.
Y'all see the people on the at the news desk? What do you
I've
see?
seen it.
Yes, no sound though.
Okay.
Cities or even states,
Yeah.
experts say it can be seen as a more extreme version of sleep divorce, which in a 2017 survey from the National Sleep Foundation found that 1 in 4 couples do sleep in separate beds. Mr. McNeil just celebrated 30 years with his lovely bride, and he is like, no way, girl.
Right.
Come on over here.
You're not a couple.
Big spoon, little spoon.
Yeah, you're not a couple if you're living apart. Now, for celebrities, don't follow celebrities, okay? Because they spend 6 months shooting movies. They're always apart.
Right.
And so they say, oh, yeah, our marriage works. Of course it works because you got to make that money. But no, a regular couple? No, that's you're not a partner. That's not partnership. That's called friendship. You know, I call you sometime and, we hook up sometime or whatever. No, that's called friendship.
But to your point, there are a lot of people that do something almost that because of work, not celebrities in movies, but they have one works so much in another state. And they have to have an apartment.
Think about the politicians that go to DC for months.
Yeah.
Sure. Right?
Don't follow them.
He said, I don't like it.
Don't follow them.
People on his boo right there. Every day.
That's called a couple.
Right.
That's a couple, right?
Right.
Not singular,
get
but
it.
couple.
I don't want it.
Yeah.
She said, I don't want it. Hey, y'all. So what y'all think about this? There's a new, I don't know if it's a new trend, but there is a trend out here called apartness. Partners and apartness. People are opting to live separately but be together.
I don't like it.
People are living in separate residences. And I actually know some people who live like this. She said, I didn't want to give up my house and he didn't want to give up his house, so he just come over and we have dinner, and then at the end of the night, we enjoy ourselves, and then he get in the car and go back to his house, and that's how they live. What do y'all think about this?
Terrible.
People are now making up words to justify the things that they don't want to handle. What are these new terms that we're talking about? And then you sit up there and add definitions and glorify it and justify why this should be a study. And then turn it into a positive, like, this is why, people are happy nowadays because they're sleeping apart. No, we need to stop justifying what we don't want to put the work into and what we just cannot handle and running from challenges. We need to stop making up words.
I agree with whatever she said, but I'm just gonna keep it real short and simple. All of that, what you just said, is delusional. Ain't no way in the world you in a relationship. You in this house, I'm in that house. We enjoying each other, and you go home. Cause see, when you go home, ain't no telling whoever else you may be enjoying either. Ain't no way in the world. So that's just two people being delusional with what they got going on, so they can satisfy each other when they get ready. You might as well be what you want to be, and then when you get ready to call me, so I can be at peace and you can be at peace. That's crazy.
I'm with T Money. I'm with T Money, serving everybody. You serve that.
Right.
Yeah, this
No
just
different spin. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I'm gonna take so is this really a new concept? Because you think about some people that are married and they don't stay in the same room, like, and they make that work. But I agree with my fellow therapist sister here, like there's obviously some issues that people don't want to talk about, but I don't know that this is like a new concept, right? Because Big Mama and Papa, they've been doing that. They was living in separate rooms. They weren't sleeping together, and they made it work.
Well, the Bible
After
said,
Not for
nine
me.
children.
That is not for me.
well,
Mm-mm. I can't do it.
the Bible said it's not good for man to be alone. So I don't agree with it.
Not to be
Yeah.
alone.
Kelvin, I think this is the result of the participation trophy era. This seems like a participation trophy in relationships. We're in a relationship, it's non-traditional, but we're not living together. Therefore, we mitigate the challenges that come with a relationship that's more hands-on or tactile and more participatory. So this is the result, in my opinion, of that participation trophy. Yes, I'm in a relationship, but I don't have to be as dedicated or committed or put in the work that a traditional relationship takes. And you know what? It's the way I've been brought up. So we really got to blame the parents. That's all I got.
Blame the
And
Wait, so
go ahead, Dr. Hazel. No, you go, girl.
okay, so thank you. So
blame the
I,
parents.
I blame the parents, but the parents used to be kids too. So then who else do we blame? But you're right though. I think is if we're talking about married couples, well, if you're going into a marriage as a contract, of course you're going to do things like that. It's a contract. But if you're going with the idea of this is uh, a covenant between God and the two people, then it won't look like that. It's so are you making this happen because you like the idea of it, or is this really what God has called you to be with, to marry? If it's a covenant, it won't look like that. If you just for making something happen for the sake of it, then of course it's no different than now it's like a good thing to say I have a therapist. Yo, you're not even putting this stuff into practice. You just come to me every week for what? To say I see a therapist and you're doing the same thing. Like, what's the difference?
Wow.
You
Look,
can't say
look,
I
who
want to be in a marriage. I want a relationship. I want to be married, but you're operating as if you're single. Well, be single, baby. It's that simple.
look, who would have thought that saying I'm going to see I have a therapist would be trendy? Something that people say that, to seem like they up on things. Yeah, I have a therapist.
Mhm. And
You're not
speaking of
honest.
trendy, with going back to what Tiffany was saying, I don't think it's the concept is new. These names, the justification, all of these are new. And you're right. My grandparents, they live in a big house in Kansas City, and grandpa room is downstairs and grandma room is upstairs. But it did not start out that way. This is marriage over 50, 60 years where it probably just migrated. Things happen. Grandpa said grandma got too much stuff in the room and he want to go downstairs and have his own space. Right now, what's happening? This is off the gate. This is like, hey, we're dating, but this is the type of relationship we're gonna have. This new apartment ship. What's the new term, Kevin? We entering this new apartment ship.
Yeah.
So that's where the issue is coming right now, is that it's coming off the gate. They're not even waiting for 40, 50 years down the line to make these decisions and choices.
Yeah. Here's a different spin on it as well. I think this is kind of the result of people getting married later in life, right? You didn't have these things when you was 21 years old. When people got married when they was 25, and like they was this didn't even register. But when you're getting older and you over 40, and you're thinking in terms of assets, that statement about he got his house, I got my house, that's obviously somebody who's lived some life and have acquired some things, and I think part of the main part of getting married is to be together,
Right.
and it's coming up together. It's having ramen noodle dinner together. It's sharing a car. I'm gonna drop you off at work and I'll come back and pick you up, and you know what I mean? And so some of these things I think come as a result of like this newfound wealth that we have. Now we got lots of options, and
Mm.
and some of these options we're taking now that didn't even exist before, but now they do because of the age that people are getting married, and let's call it the wealth culture.
Can I just call it selfishness? Like you're
Good.
selfish.
Mhm.
Just
Hmm.
being
It
Because
could be a lack of trust as well. A lack
a
of
lack of
trust.
trust, fear, because
you're
I
being
was going to say that's more
greedy.
of a financial burden. Living
You're
apart is more of a
It is.
financial
Yes,
burden.
Yes. You got to pay
right.
two electric bills.
and and you're being greedy. You want your cake, ice cream, and everything in between. You're greedy and you're selfish. And again, that's more of like a business deal. That's a contract. That's just saying, hey, this piece of paper binds us, or our words bind us, and this is as far as it's going to get. But when it's a covenant, that's something totally different. You don't even operate that way when it's a covenant between
Mhm.
you, the person, and God. You wouldn't even do that because that's who
So
God
why,
assigned you, and you wouldn't consider it a sacrifice.
so why get married anyway? That's my whole
Right.
point.
Well, I was
You
just
should, you
thinking,
should, you
why do
shouldn't
it?
even, you shouldn't even get married. If you want to live that single life until you're 90 and decide to get married when you're 95, then that's fine. But I don't think no one should get married and then live
Live
separate.
separate.
That
Right.
that
But
just that just don't make no sense. I
That
wouldn't
defeats
sign
the
off on
purpose.
that. I wouldn't
but
sign
see,
off on that. Period. If we're going to do it, we're going to do it together and work on togetherness. Right now, social media has really killed a lot of relationships. These TV shows and all, to my opinion, a lot of people look at these TV shows and they take what they see, but not dealing with reality. So if you don't want to be married, then don't get married because I'm not gonna live separate. That ain't gonna work with me.
No, sir. All right.
Absolutely not. I'm not
All
gonna
right,
lie to
check
you.
this one out, y'all. We on a roll here. We're on a roll. This is leading to something. So check this out.
I'm talking real. He wants to bring like when I'm asleep, he wants to bring like potato salad to bed. He wants to put it on my back. Next thing I know, he's licking it off my back, eating it off of me. Okay. He loves candy yams. I'm laying in the bed sleep. Next thing I know, I got a yam going up my leg and he grudging all up on it. He all
Mm,
over my leg with a, this is what he does. Okay, I'm cleaned up. I'm showered. I want to go to sleep, get ready to start our day the next day. Okay, I'm talking real. He wants to bring like when I'm asleep, he wants to bring like potato salad to bed. He wants to put it on my back. Next thing I know, he's licking it off my back, eating it off of me. Okay. He loves candy yams. I'm laying in the bed sleep. Next thing I know, I got a yam going up my leg and he grudging all up on it. He all over my leg with a, this is
steak,
Well, my,
steak.
my man, he had that look too, like I'll eat you up. So how about this, y'all? So this is let's say this is a couple who is living together, and they standing in front of Judge Toller. So I think that might have been divorce court or whatever. Uh,
Mm,
Was.
but so we this could fall, you guys, under the heading of kink. You see
I
where
didn't know he was
how
like
your boy
that
is setting it up
before.
here tonight. Now you see what we're doing here,
I
right?
didn't know before. See, that's
So
what he
so
likes.
so the question is, how far is, let's say, too far when it comes to kink? When it comes to
Mm.
a happy couple enjoying their intimacy time, right? And I'm saying couple because you do what you do. We they was in divorce court, so they were husband and wife, whatever. But how far is too far, and who decides what is too far? Is rolling a yam up your woman's thigh too far?
well, here's the deal,
Licking,
good doctor.
licking potato salad off her back?
He,
Is that
he
too far?
he was already doing that. He
That's
was
what I'm
already doing
saying.
it. He was
Yeah.
already doing that. She just got tired of. She just got tired of it. So she's
She
bringing it
got
up. He's
sticky.
been putting
She just
yams
got
and
too sticky.
yeah.
Probably
She
gained
just
a
got
couple
tired of
extra
it.
pounds and was like,
He's
wait a
been put.
minute, you can't be
Yeah,
bringing this food to the bedroom and
yeah,
put it on my body. But you
yeah.
knew what you got, we was getting when you got with him.
Yeah.
Like that's why
Right.
he
Yeah,
turned
we
you
gotta
Absolutely.
on.
be honest. We gotta be honest in the beginning. Just be upfront, be
Right.
honest. Like
Right.
it depends on the couple. To answer your question, Kelvin, it depends on the couple. If that's the kind of level that y'all want to
Right.
do you.
Correct.
But both of you have to be in agreement with it. And everyone needs to be honest in relationships. What do you expect in your marriage? We need to even talk about that even in our Christian relationships.
Yeah.
We have to talk about how do how much do you need it or what do you like, whatever, so we can make sure that it lasts. We got to
And
be on the same level. And if we're honest, then I don't think we'll have this many hiccups sexually. I mean, you're going to experiment. I mean, that's the whole thing. But
I'm
if
gonna
Man,
go
you
with
if,
what
if
he
you're
said. I
if
just
you're
think
a saint that is a freak, I'm saying a freak. If a saint's a freak, then you need to marry a saint, a woman that's a freak. That's just my opinion. If you know
right, be
if you know
equally
that you're
yoked.
freaky,
I'm
Be
gonna go with
equally
what
then
he
yoked.
was. I'm gonna go with what he was saying because I think what happened is she was with it in the beginning and it
right.
changed. So I don't think it's about the upfront in the beginning. I just think everybody need to check in with each other periodically in your relationship because see, we grow. We grow in our relationships, whether or not we grow apart or we grow together. But at some point, we all need to talk about what our expectations are later on down the line. Because seems like from that clip, she just changed. She changed the scenario. She don't want to be freaking no more. But that's how they got each other. So she
Right.
she
Right.
need to be
She
discussing that with
lied.
him. Right. She
uh,
did it to get him. Now she need to do it to keep him.
That's it.
All right.
right.
That's it.
Kelvin.
She
Uh,
lied.
let me hear from my therapist, Tiffany Taylor. Tiff, come on,
Well,
talk
I
to
mean,
me. What,
I
what,
love
what-
it. I don't yuck anybody's yum. If that's what they want to do, that's in their bedroom, that's what they do. But I think what this brings up for me also is consent. And so a lot of times when people get married, they don't think that they should have conversations
Okay.
about things, right? They just think you have a blanket
Mm,
yes, or whenever I want it, I can get it. Or whatever I want to do, because a lot of times what's talked about in the church is, my body is now my partner's, right? And maybe I don't have any say so anymore, but I'm very big on consent. And I think consent is something that you need to be engaging in continuously. You need to continuously have conversations with your partners. We also don't do a really good job, especially in the Black church. We talk about communication, we talk about finances, but we don't talk about sex. We don't talk about, do I have a kink? Am I a freak? And what does that mean? Because there's a lot of shame, there's a lot of guilt. And I think a lot of people think that when you talk about sex before marriage, that makes you want to have sex more. But
it
what that
could.
does is just set people up for very unhealthy relationships and mismatched libidos, mismatched interests when it comes to sex as well.
Kelvin, the
Totally agree.
therapist gave us some really, really excellent points. I'm not even going to make a counterpoint. I'm just going to say that women be lying. Women be
Women be
lying. Let me
lying.
Maybe
tell let me tell you what I meant.
tuna.
But see, we talking about the women right
Let's
now.
get to
See,
it.
when
Okay,
when
okay,
I
okay,
when I
okay.
say that women be
Women lie.
lying, a woman will say to a man, "I am going to be your everything sexually if you put that ring on
Lie.
me," and she will
right.
put everything on him to get him to jump that broom. But when he
First
Mhm.
2
jumps that
years.
broom,
I
his
agree.
expectations are set up here. And because they're set up here, he's going into that covenant thinking that, oh man, I got all access now because she told me I had all access.
Hmm.
Mm,
Consent is important. You have to have it. Post-marital, marital or prenuptial, what you have to have it at all times. All I'm saying, and I'm being completely serious now, is women, if you promise that man the land of milk and honey, and he comes
Proverbs.
to
Mm,
expect milk and honey, and
mm.
you say you ain't
Handaba.
got no milk,
Hey,
honey, that's on you.
glory.
I
Yeah,
agree.
So don't
I
expect
agree.
monogamy and not uphold your end of the bargain by meeting your partner's need. That's all I
Proverbs
got.
five
I
nineteen.
100%
She
agree
she
with you.
probably
That
just didn't
women
know.
be lying.
She probably
Proverbs
just
I
didn't
agree
know.
with you.
She probably
Proverbs
just didn't know how
5:19.
sweet that honey is, because he probably popped some surprises on her if it got to be that serious. Because she
Well,
probably
maybe
did promise him milk and honey, but you bringing milk, honey, bees, and everybody else. You bringing a whole colony. She may not be down with that. So again, a conversation just need to be had, and then I'm quite sure some of this should be discussed before you even promise the land of milk and honey, because everybody can't get as
And
freaky as
then
your partner. She might got surprised.
and wait,
Hold
and
on
T
one sec.
Money,
Hold on one
what
sec.
about
Hold on. Hold
uh
that thought, Dr. Hazel. Hold that thought. I need to ask Mr. Kelly Cole.
What's
Mr.
up?
Kelly Cole, the man who was with his wife as a young woman, got
Yeah.
I ain't gonna say got rid of her, but but they broke up and then got back
Basically,
together, remarried. Mr. Kelly Cole, is it upon a man to get consent to enjoy his wife? Does he have to ask permission to get to that thing, to
I
roll them
believe
sweet
so.
potatoes up the thigh and to lick that potato salad off the back?
Yep,
Does he have to get permission for that?
I think so. I don't want it if I don't have consent. Cause I want to feel like she wants me too. So yeah, he got to get consent, and he got
that's
to do whatever he got to do
So
to
wait
warm.
a minute.
Hey, he got to warm the stove up before he put the yams on it. So you got to get that consent first.
So you try to tell me
Yep.
that since the things have happened,
Yeah.
you actually have to ask your wife for
No, it's
if
not
she doesn't
asking.
mind,
You don't have.
if you don't mind,
No, it's not
can you
about
lift your leg
asking.
to the left?
No, you know if you have consent or not. Like if especially if once you become one, you know if you have consent based on how she's moving, how she's reacting. You know if your woman is not feeling good. You know if it's been a rough day, and you know what to do to get her in the mood. So I believe yes, you should have consent. You don't have to ask, quote unquote, say, "Hey, are you okay with this?" I don't know if y'all seen that new show on Netflix, Forever, right? The two young kids. He at each step he asks, "Hey, is this okay? Can I take your shorts off?" The next step he said, "Is this okay?" And she kept saying, giving him consent to move forward. It doesn't have to be like that, man. We've been married 20 years if you count both marriages, but you know when you have consent or not, or how she's feeling. But I do think you should have consent.
Go ahead, Dr. Hazel J.
Oh, thank you. So I was going to say, yes, she can say she has the milk and honey, but she didn't say if it was low fat. She didn't say if it was goat milk. She didn't say what kind of milk it was or what kind of honey it was. I'm just being funny with that part. But the other piece though is that he needs to pay attention on what kind of milk he want and what kind of honey he want. And there's signs, you know what you like. So don't go being um acting like you got a whole cow over here. Well, maybe that's not the right way to say it, but don't act like you about to have all this access when you can clearly see there's some signs. Don't let your ego fool you into something that you know there's signs that you're not gonna get. Like if she not being consistent with just what maybe checking on you to see how you doing, send you like that little text message, hey baby, how your day going, and you think you're gonna get all this and all that. If she can't even do that, then why would you think you're gonna get all that and then put it on her like it's her fault? She
so
gave you what you allowed her to give you.
could it be that she's not satisfied?
It can she ain't it could be a whole bunch of different things, but
Because if she's not
it shouldn't be
satisfied,
put
she don't want his milk.
but it shouldn't be put on the woman or the man is what I'm trying to say. Both people need to have a conversation about it. You need to be really complete. Some people have said that already. You really got to be 100%. You got to be 100% with yourself. Like this is what I want. Can you deliver or can you not? This is what I'm willing to accept. This is what I'm not willing to accept.
And if he
And having
can't
those
deliver, what happens?
conversations, but have those conversations early as possible so you're
Before
not
you
falling in
get
love with
married.
somebody that can't. Yeah.
Yeah, before
Could it
you
be
get
I
that?
married. That's why you should be intentional on who you Just because you're interested in them don't mean you need to date them. Just because you
Right.
date them doesn't, or you enjoy their company doesn't mean you need to date them. Just because you date them don't mean you need to court them. Just because you court them don't mean you gotta engage. You see what I'm saying? Don't get too excited.
All right,
The
all right. Look,
question I have,
So
the question I have, if he does not satisfy the kitchen and the meal's complete, what happens after 5 years?
Well, if you love them, you
Oh, I
teach
left
them.
mine. No, I left mine.
Well, see,
um,
she's been. I'm talking about if he cannot satisfy to the bone, and he's just you taught him
So
and teaching
again,
him
I,
and
I
teaching
still
him.
I still stand strong on the fact that it's a difference between a contract where you just marry somebody and a covenant. I really still stand strong on that. If it's a covenant, if that's the man that or the woman that you were saying, God, under you, we're coming together, and God, you do what you need to do, and we're working together under the covenant, then none of you're gonna figure it out, right? You're gonna figure it out. If it don't
If
work,
both if
are you
both
really?
parties if
it,
if both parties want it.
but that's why
If
it's
both.
that's
right.
why you have the conversation, and that's why you're honest and you're transparent, and that's why you work on healing yourself, and you really start uncovering things about yourself, because you can be with someone and you could show up in your truth in that moment. That could really be your truth that you're sharing with him or her, and then things happen and things change, and then now that's no longer your truth in that moment. As soon as your truth change, then you need to have that conversation and say, yo, my truth done changed, let's talk about it.
We still talking about
Hey,
sex.
so
We still
Well,
talking
let
about
me
sex.
oh,
We still talking
hold
about
on,
sex, right?
hold
Yeah,
that's
on,
we talk about
Oh,
satisfying,
oh,
hold on one
satisfying.
satisfied.
sec.
Oh, okay. Because
Hold
I
on,
y'all
y'all.
got
Hold on,
with all the
hold on one
conversation
sec.
I had got lost.
Wait a minute. Look, so
Y'all do a lot of talking.
she said, "Get to it. Get to the point."
Just
I
say what
had
you got.
All right.
because I have so many points, but I got one. Go ahead,
Yeah, yeah.
Kelvin.
I want you to just hold that point for just a minute. I want to jump in the comment section. Deep House Nation said, "Amen, Jeffrey Miller. Amen." He said, "Husbands getting hoodwinked out here. The wedding ring becomes a chastity belt 80% of the time." What you think about that, Jeffrey?
This is the part where I really stress to men that having a fertile environment is on you. This is what I mean. If your wife is coming home and you sitting your ass on the couch, well, you shouldn't get any. If your wife come home and you get home first and you haven't started dinner, well, it's questionable whether or not you should get some. At the same time, if you are actually leading from a healthy masculine space, you won't be able to keep your woman off you. This is what I mean. You're actually doing what it is that men do. You show up and you control the environment that she is in. You don't let anything come and disturb her peace while she is in your presence. And if something disturbs her peace while you're not, guess who she's on the phone with? It's you. If you handle yourself like a man who has at his core a foundation built for his woman to pour into, you will not be able to keep her off of you. That's all I got.
That's real
Outstanding.
foreplay right there. That's foreplay right there.
Amen.
I like that. I like
That's
Yes,
that.
outstanding.
the
That's
legs
That's
will
outstanding.
part.
foreplay.
The
That's
legs
big
will
Okay,
part.
man.
no problem. Well, no problem.
He
Uh,
said
Be no problem.
the
uh,
legs will part.
The
No
legs
no
will
problem.
part.
problem. Like the Red
That's right.
Sea.
Like
Uh,
I hope like the blue sea. No red sea in it there. Come on, somebody.
Come on, Reverend.
Can I get in my last point on that?
Please jump in.
IG?
Go ahead,
It
jump
was
in.
so many that I wanted to touch on. I just have my last memory. Yes, I do believe on one end, women do bamboozle their husbands, men, or whatever. But I also believe that there comes a time where people think other people are playing. Right. And so going back to that or they think that they can change their mind. So going back to that clip, my man on there, you knew he was freaky. The way he was looking in the courtroom, he was not hiding that. He didn't care the authorities, the president, the Pope in there. You mentioning what he want to do, and he gonna do it. See, she thought he was playing. Okay, when he said that I'm freaky, well, she was like, "Ah, you're not that freaky. I can keep up with you." No, 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 no. You thought that man was playing. A freak is gonna let you know when they're a freak off top. You gonna know when a man is a freak. So therefore, like one of my panelists said here, she just got tired. She just got tired of trying to keep up because she thought he was playing, and she thought that she was gonna get in that bedroom and put it on him. And then he was like, no. So a lot of people really just need to take people for what they say, what they show you, how they act. Because again, freak, you can't hide freakiness. He could not hide
Mhm.
that freakiness.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And
So,
she knew it.
look, so what is I didn't see the results of this thing. So what do you think these two people need to do to come to even? Like because it's obvious he's probably got a higher this is about a higher sex drive one
Did
than
her.
the other. So what can be done? What do y'all think that who needs to make the adjustment?
She need to
She
step
do.
her game up.
She yeah, absolutely. She need to step
She
her
need to
game
step
up.
her game up because
Yeah,
he will
step her
go
game.
outside. That's her
Yeah,
husband. She need to
absolutely.
take care of him and make sure he good. If that's what she promised him. Bottom line, I don't care how freaky he may get. See, I'm still shocked because we having this conversation, and I'm like, are we still talking about sex? Because who's talking about anything? Because when it comes to mine, when I get married, my husband ain't got to ask me for nothing because I'm gonna serve him because I'm gonna make sure he's not going outside that door. He can come
Mm.
get it when he want to, how he want to, whenever he want to. I belong to him and he belong to me. We ain't got to communicate about that because communication is in the covenant itself because that's my husband. Now,
That's right.
boyfriend, girlfriend may be a different story. Maybe you need to check me out to see what I'm feeling every now and then while we doing this thing. But again, we ain't got to talk about nothing because I'm going to test the waters before we even get to the podium.
That's right. If you break the backbone good, you're gonna create a stalker in your wife. She'll be
And
stalking you.
also, if she does not like the potato salad or the yams, stepping your game up, you bring something else. Bring something else to the table. That doesn't answer because we're talking consent, we're talking all that. Fine.
Bring
If
them
you
on.
don't like the potato salad or the yams, find something else that might turn him on and bring it in there. That's how we can do it, or something
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm
that.
about to
Yeah, because
say.
I
Bring
was
some
also
gravy.
thinking about the
He eating it.
pH. Like
Yeah, because
I don't like to have no sick.
it's a lot of different factors that go into
Yeah,
it. But the problem is a rejection immediately. That's where we
yeah,
come into the challenges, right? Telling you what I'm not going to do, what you
Right,
shouldn't do, and all that in a relationship. That's why discussions are important because as women, yes, you get the sense having sex on the beach and all that, and like you hold on, I like that sounds sexy, but I really don't want all that sand all up in my body parts. Let's
right,
talk about it. You know what I mean?
right, right.
So
yeah,
again, discussion and understanding, but also bring something else. I think a lot of people just be period. Like, no, okay,
yeah.
I don't want the sand down up in there, but maybe we can do it in the car at the beach. How's that? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
come on
Food,
now, let's come together.
food belong on the table. That's all I got to say. Food belong on the table. Not on the body parts, because I may start really eating, I'm like, but food belong on the table, not
Well,
on the
some
body.
foods are aphrodisiacs and they can be used. Coconut oil, those
Well,
Cream.
great
yeah, but
lube.
he was using potato salad
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
that he went too far. Yes, the oil part, yes, we understand. But I'm
Hmm.
talking about use neck bones and gravy and strawberry ice cream and sweet potato pie. That's going too
Yes,
that's too much. The
it's
other
a bit
stuff,
much.
yes. You can be nice and neatly and just make sure you have a what they call it, a shower
A bed cover.
shower
Just a bed cover,
sheet
Doc.
on yes.
It
Yeah,
used
Yes.
to just be strawberries and whipped cream. Where did the potato salad and the yams and all
Yeah.
that?
yeah,
It was
That's
just
what he liked.
strawberries, whipped
He
cream.
like.
yeah,
Jesus.
that's
That's
too much.
That's what
right.
he liked.
Go to work smell like turkey butts.
Right.
In church saying Jesus is my son.
All right, all right, all right. So y'all, let's get into this main topic here tonight.
He did it.
We got it. We got to get to it. Because it's a difficult situation, but
Hmm.
it is what it is. Let's go.
Mom Talk has gotten to
That ain't it.
Oh,
Look, they always going to try to get you with the commercial. I'm gonna see if I can stop sharing while we get that through. But yeah, so you guys have known, everybody knows about this situation. Man, P-Diddy, Sean Combs, um, the king of the 90s, king of the music of the 90s,
he did it.
is just going down in flames. My man's house was raided. What was that? That was about a year ago, I guess. And after being with Cassie, after a long relationship, tumultuous, we didn't know how bad it was until that tape came out on CNN of him going off on her and beating her up, and then the whole tide, because we all thought maybe she was just after the money, but there was real allegations going on. And so now here we are, at the trial. He's now at the trial. He's got these charges that he's facing, and he could be actually facing life. Before I jump into this, and before I hit the video, you guys, I'm gonna throw the ball in the air. Tell me your thoughts about maybe your thought about Diddy, Puff Daddy, Puffy, whatever you want to call him, beforehand, Bad Boy. My man got built a business out the dirt. He got it out the mud, and built a business that somebody could say, like, the Bad Boy label was seen as one of the biggest music productions of the 90s, 90s and 2000s. Helped shape a whole generation's musical ear, and to see him go down like this is it's just terrible. So, who wants to go first?
Well, let me go first real quick. I think he just, my opinion, I just think he got what he got from. I hate to say this, but you still a lot. It catches up with you. In my opinion, it's just almost like our 47 president. You keep lying and lying and lying and lying. It gets you where you need to be, but as soon as it catches up with you, and I think it just caught up with them, all the stealing and conniving, and, everybody knew how he was, because there's no way in the world you know how a person is, not knowing who he is. Yes, he built it up. So I just think, he got that way from just conniving and lying. So it just caught up to him. So now he's where he's at now, which I think he probably gonna beat the case.
All right. Who's next?
So I ain't gonna lie, I was a Diddy fan before all of this. I watched all the making the bands. That's when it started kind of changing for me, kind of seeing, the behind the scenes. But before that, I was, Diddy bopping and everything. Like I like Diddy. I'm not ashamed to say that
He's
I
not
liked
gonna
him and I
That
liked
man,
his music. Yeah,
Harlem Shake.
right.
You just didn't know the behind the scenes stories.
No, I didn't. But
Right.
I actually thought okay. I didn't think he was like physically attractive, but I thought he was attractive because I am attracted to confidence, right? And so, but then
He,
when all that behind the scenes stuff came out, I
he,
was like,
he was, he's a Trumpster. He fooled everybody.
mhm.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
He just
yeah.
fooled a lot of people.
All
And of
right.
course,
So
Go ahead, Kenya.
I'm with Tiffany. One of my biggest, I only have two regrets in life. One was not going to a HBCU, and the second one was missing the Bad Boy reunion tour. I'll say that to the death of it. And now I'm like, I'll never have that again. So I'm a fan, but for me, music is a big part of my life. So I know how to compartmentalize. Now I knew someone, right? Because I'm with my man, Mr. Marcus over here. You don't get like that just being a saint. You don't get that much, fame, fortune, all of that by being a saint. It's some behind the scenes stuff. And so we knew the different relationships that were
right,
falling. The making of the band showed us failed relationships. It
correct.
was cute thinking that he was giving opportunity to anybody. But everybody on Bad Boy has had failed success. And
Right.
you knew something wasn't right. So we knew something was going on with him, and it just caught up with him. And the thing about this trial is when it come up is that you're never really going to go down for what you really need to go down for.
Right.
But
Correct.
everything else is going to come in. So when the people is like, oh, that's what he in jail for, those the counts, it don't matter because he going down for something.
Okay.
The only thing I don't
Kelly
agree with,
Cole.
real quick, only thing I don't agree with if he was messing with the young girls, if they was like 12 and under. That's why, or
Right.
15.
Which hold on. We gonna call it straight. We ain't gonna add nothing to the man case that ain't
Right.
been
Come on.
prosecuted. That came up to be unfounded. The underage girl, she claimed him and Jay-Z, and it was found that the lawyer put her up to it, and they dismissed it. So those charges are off the
Is that the same? Is that the same when the lady got died in the Epstein case? She committed suicide. But go ahead. That's another case.
I think dealing with Diddy, in the old saying, "What you do in the dark must come to the light."
Right. Right.
But if you're from Atlanta, you heard about Diddy back when Superhead put her book out because she was already talking about what's going on right now with Diddy and the rest of them. See, we in Atlanta already knew he was swinging both ways. All
Right.
right. So we knew that. It's just a matter of fact that things came out loud because of the trial has led up to what he's actually been doing the whole time. We've heard that lifestyle. Like if you know people that are here that are in the industry, I do. I'm quite sure you do, and those are here. We already knew what was going on. We knew why some
Right.
people didn't make it, and we knew why a lot of people did make it. They sold. So it's
Right.
not surprising. It's just shocking how things are coming out and how it ended and how it took so long for it to come out. And again, like I think Kenya has said it, all that fame, this ain't gonna get. Some people can get it honestly, but it is what it is, and you do what you got to do. Unfortunately, he got caught up in what he did, so it is what it is.
Mm.
All right, Kelly Cole, talk to me.
I agree with Kenya. Got two regrets. Didn't go to HBCU, and I did not go to the Bad Boy reunion. I didn't go to the what's the CD he came out with right after Biggie died? Was it the family tour? P
Oh
Diddy and
yeah,
the family tour?
yeah.
Man, I was so mad I missed that tour in Greensboro because all of my friends went to the mall before the show and they met all of them. So I was such a Bad Boy fan. I had the medallion and everything. So
Right.
it hurt my heart. But just like everybody say, you knew if you've been around anything in music, I've booked Farnsworth Bentley for shows. I've booked the band for shows, celebrity basketball games. You
Mm.
knew it was coming. I heard a lot of stories before this came out.
Yes, sir.
And Dylon said it. You're dealing with a monster. If
That's
y'all
it.
watch the show, y'all remember that? Dylon said,
Mm.
you're dealing with a monster.
Dylan,
Mm.
Dylan, Dylan. Yes.
Dylon.
Remember that.
Dr. Hazel J, talk to me. You got it. You got
Uh-oh.
Yes, I'm trying to unmute. Okay, there we go. Um, so I think he's a very talented person. I think he's a genius in his craft. I also understand that, or I believe that most people who get to the top, I think someone mentioned that already, they are willing to compromise and do a lot of things to get there. Um, I also understand that whoever was over or whoever's over somebody who looks like they're in position or in power or influence, and you go against that, they will crumble you in any way they can. Now, I'm definitely not agreeing with what he's being accused of or what he's done, not done, none of those things. But what I am saying is that if folks are saying that we know how he was and how he got there, then playing devil's advocate or the opposite side of it, I'm going to say then it's all of our faults for encouraging him, for egging him on, for getting him to the place that he is. Because if you know someone is not right? Or they have the potential to be a monster, why make them a bigger monster? Why watch the show? Why invest? Why do those things if you know that's going to happen? It's no different than when we shift blame and say it's the parent's fault. Well, before the parent became a parent, they was a child. So if they didn't get taught, or if they never got reprimanded or held accountable, they're going to grow up to do the same thing. He grew up to be a bigger monster. He was always, it sounds like, a monster in that way, and he was allowed to play whatever role he was allowed to play, and he played it very well until they pulled the wool over his eyes, over our eyes.
Yeah. All right. Look, I want to get the last couple of folks here. I want to get your opinion, but let me play some of the video, and then you guys will be first up to share your thoughts on what you see and hear here. This is Harvey on from TMZ live, and he's going to kind of break down day 4 of the case, and just hear what he's got to say.
I didn't know this, but she testified that even while she was dating Kid Cudi, she was doing freak-offs with Diddy. Well, it is to be expected that the defense scored points today. So in that sense, they won the day because they did cross-examination all day, and they were trying to make a number of points. I want to get into something at the end of this. I want to talk about the jury's reaction to all of it, because I find it absolutely fascinating how the jury reacted to some of the most graphic testimony and photographs. But let's start with what the defense was trying to do. What they're trying to do is show that everything done was consensual, and it was done without coercion or force. For at least one of the charges, that's the ball game. That's why Cassie is primarily there. It's about, did she consent to these freak-offs? Did he force her or coerce her into doing it? So we told you yesterday that the prosecution didn't fully close the loop, that there was a lot of her saying, I didn't want to do it, but she almost never communicated, even obliquely, that to Diddy. And the communication to Diddy is going to be really important when it comes to the jury instructions. By the way, this is not taking Diddy's side, because and the things she testified to are horrendous. I'm talking about the law right now, that ultimately the jury is going to get a set of jury instructions, and that's what they're going to have to deal with. So let's go through it. So the defense questioned Cassie about the freak-offs and whether she was consenting to them, because she testified that she did early on, but then she didn't like it.
All right, let me stop right there. I don't want to get a strike from the people. Okay, Tiff, talk to me. I'm sorry. Let me go with Jeff, brother Jeff first, and then I do want to come back to you, Tiff. But so she first said she didn't want to do it, then she says she did want to do it. She's kind of back and forth. What's your overall thought on this whole situation of Diddy and Cassie being in a relationship for 10 years? And the question on the big question on the video was, who is the victim? Is there a victim in this case? And if so, who is the victim?
No one.
This is one of those questions that's tough, because in reality, there is a truth behind trauma bonding. Stockholm syndromes, those are real things. People have been held captive and developed fond emotions for their captors. So I'm not here to excuse anything that Puffy did, or to talk bad about what Cassie may not have done from an emotional standpoint. The bottom line of it is, just like he said, from a legal standpoint, did she communicate that she was not with it? And from a legal standpoint, if she did not say no, or give him clear signs that she wasn't interested in doing this anymore, it may be difficult for the prosecution's case to hold up. Again, I want to reiterate there's a difference between the law and morality. There's a difference between the law and what tugs at your heartstrings and your emotions. There's a lot of that at play from the prosecution. The prosecution is doing things that plays on people's emotions. That's their job, to get people enthralled. The jurors are not immune to that. The bottom line of it is, though, when the jurors get those instructions from the judge, and they say you are not to consider this, you are not to consider that, that emotional stuff doesn't go away. They still have to look at the law. And if she did not say, I don't want to do this, and he didn't force her after that, it may be difficult on that one particular charge for it to stick. That's all I got.
Great.
All right. Let me jump to Kenya. She got her hand up. What you feeling?
It's boiling my keepsake grits because I hear the law and the legality of a lot of things. But a few minutes ago, we were just saying that when it came to pleasure, right? And all of that, we were saying, oh, my wife doesn't have to say, she doesn't have to like, oh no, like I can feel when she wants it. I can feel when she doesn't, right? Oh, but when we're in harm, when we're on the other side of it, you have to literally hear me say no. He knew she wasn't with it. He saw it in her eyes. He saw it in her. She light skinned. When she turned red, he knew she didn't want to do it. But it's just crazy on how when it's pleasurable, my eyes are okay, right? I don't have to physically say yes. Oh, but now we're in the courtroom and it's legal just because she didn't physically say no and her eyes. That's all. That's all. I just wanted to. That was burning in my soul.
The eyes don't lie, the mouth do.
That is a very fair point. As a counterpoint, from a emotional standpoint, um, most people who look at this, and I'm saying most on purpose, if you look at social media, Diddy is guilty.
Right.
He did it. Diddy did it. Yes, he did it. If you look at it, and that is the emotional reaction to it. When people say she was there for 10 years, why did she stay? Again, that trauma bond is real. So I understand why she stayed, because she was bonded to him through trauma. At the same time, when you get in the black and white of the law is not looking at the emotion. It's not looking at her eyes. It's like, did you do this? Yes or no? And if if the defense gets her to admit that she never told him, I did not want to do it, from a legal standpoint, that charge may be difficult to stick.
Yeah.
So
Look,
is this the Ike and Tina Turner case?
no.
No, they're not married.
I know that. I know they're not married. But when you was talking about being in a bond and that you can't get out of, I know they're not married. But you know that she was intimidated by him.
I would agree with that.
If you've never been in a physical, if you've never been in an abusive relationship, it's kind of hard to put yourself in her position. And I'm 50, and my first marriage was very abusive. And it's very hard to get away from a poor man and he abusing you. So just imagine how hard it is to get away from a rich man. And even when she did try to get away, even though he's not on trial for the abuse, is not what they're talking about. But when she did try to get away, we all saw he dragged her down that hall. So she knew what the consequences were. So she just identified herself while she could until she got a good time to get away, leave him free and clear with no beatings or abusive or anything happened to her or her family. We don't know how far the abuse went beyond just her, because there are things that Diddy has done to other people to keep people on his side. She knew all his dirty secrets. So we cannot just sit there and say, why didn't she leave, and be judgmental on the outside, because not only was she physical abused, he mentally abused her along with the
Right.
Stockholm syndrome. So again, if you have never gone through abuse, there's just no way you can identify yourself with what she went through personally, physically, and also through her family to keep them safe as well. So we all can opinionate, but we just want to put ourselves in that position to what she really was facing in real life. It seemed easy, but I guarantee and promise you, when you have family, friends, I don't know if she had kids back then, but you just want to play it safe so you can live and survive and tell your side of the story. And I think that's what happened.
I
Yeah.
think he made. I think he made it. I
I,
think he made his mistake when he testified and said that wasn't him, and he shouldn't have did that. Well, y'all remember when he came on and said he don't know what happened. That's not really him. He apologized. He was trying to apologize for what he did to her. And that y'all don't remember
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
I
He
do. I
kind of
do.
admitted guilt. But
Right.
so look, but here's what I'm seeing them do, right? So all of this testimony that's going on right now is trying to establish a pattern, is trying to establish something. Technically, none of the things that we even talking about are the things that he's on trial for,
Or, right.
right? He's on
Right.
trial for sex trafficking,
Right.
Mm,
racketeering,
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
and transportation to engage
Retail.
in prostitution.
And
Yeah.
right
Right.
now, to
Now,
me, the only thing they've been talking about is like his kink has been on trial.
right.
Right.
Right. So
Right.
so this
It's
is
like the guy with
this
the
is the
sweet
thing.
potatoes. It's like remember
Yeah.
the yams.
They're trying to gauge Diddy's character. That's what they're trying to do. But when I come across people like this, the first thing I do is, how did you grow up? Do y'all know who Diddy's father was? Do you know he was the second in command in a huge drug organization in from Harlem to Los Angeles? He saw this growing up. And we're talking about old school
Makes
murder,
sense.
bury you in the cement. He's seen this as a child. You have to go back to the roots. This has always been in Diddy. It's just that
Yeah.
he got money, he got power. He is a master manipulator whom he's
Right.
gotten from his father. We can't
Right.
just say, oh, Diddy just here. People have to learn to go back to see, what did he see as a child that has shaped him to think that he can do whatever he wants and there are no consequences. So when you get money, you're never satiated. It's never enough, and you have that power to manipulate women, like T was saying, to make her stay even though the door is open. You
Right.
have
Mm-hmm.
to go into his childhood, even his mother.
Mm.
I mean, that's where I did my research. What was his home life like in Harlem as a child? You'd be surprised.
How did his first wife die?
His first
And
child's
that's another.
mother was underage. Y'all know his first child's mother was underage when he got
Right.
her pregnant.
How did she die?
Did she die? Nothing.
She's
Kim,
the first.
She's
you're
still
talking about
alive.
Kim?
No, not the first one, the second one. That's
The second.
Kim.
Kim
Kim
What?
is
died.
the one
Like
that passed
him.
away.
How
His
did she
first
die?
baby mom.
Apparently she had some type of pneumonia. Now y'all know she was about to come out with a book.
Right. That's what I'm
So
saying.
you got to do the research. I'm
Okay.
not worried about what's going on now. I want to know what happened back then, and that just
Right.
you'll find the red thread.
All
It
right. Let me hear it. Dr. Hazel, let me hear you. What you got?
I was just in agreement. I think that's super true. Like at the end of the day, you are who you are until you get delivered,
Boy.
healed, and set free. You just are who you are. And if you have people, um, whether it's us who were fond of him or his business partners, whomever, if you have people agreeing with you, liking you, celebrating you in who you are, because we chose to overlook it, or get blindsided by it. I mean, like I said, we helped create a monster. And he was validated in that way. So playing devil's advocate, I really don't believe there's a victim per se, but I could go too far as to say, well, he's a victim. To circumstance and to the people, to the public eye, and they gave him permission to become a bigger monster.
Or Dr. Hazel, somebody could say, because I don't know, somebody talked about his father, right?
Yes, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. If
He
you're
could say,
conditioned, if you're groomed, if you see, if you didn't even have say he didn't even have a relationship with his father, and he wanted his father so much in his life, he automatically now assumed the characteristics, the morale of the very person who he felt rejected by, and now he consumed that, and he said, "I'm going to be better and greater than my father." Any of those things could have happened to him in his subconscious, and now he's being fed that, and is being nurtured, and is being cultivated, and now here we are at the forefront of it. And also, I think, based off what I'm hearing, is that they're using this really as a distraction, like they do a lot of things. If because of who he is in the position and how much he has contributed, the people have made off of him. While he's this wonderful he makes all this money, right? There's people who've made way more off of him, right? And so I don't believe, and I can be wrong, I don't believe I believe that this is a tactic to get folks emotionally invoked, to get them off of what he needs to be charged for. But if he gets charged for that, then what that's going to do, that's going to take away from other people's power, because it's a whole bunch of people involved in it that we don't even know about, or who's never even going to come to the forefront.
Who does he sound like? Who does Diddy sound like?
He sound
I
like
mean, I'm saying to me,
R. Kelly.
no, not R. Kelly. What I'm saying, to me, Diddy
like a
is a
mafia
bully.
boss.
Diddy's a bully like Donald Trump. They play
I
victim.
was gonna say Trump.
No, I'm just saying they both just alike. He's
Yes.
white, he's black. They both play the victim. They play on people. They play, I can get what I want. I can do this. I can do, but Trump's, I'm putting up two in because they both from New York. And look at Trump's father. His father, where he was, look at Diddy's father. So what I'm saying is that these two are bullies. They get what they want. I want what I want. When I want it, if I don't get it, I'm gonna bash you. I'm gonna dog you. I'm gonna do what I need to do. The only thing about with Diddy, he's black. Donald Trump's white. He just keep getting off.
And Diddy going to jail.
There you go.
All right, let's get some more of this.
Let me say one more thing. I just really feel like this is bigger. They're using Cassie and the rest of what Diddy did to punish him, but this is way bigger than that. Diddy bit the hand that fed him, which was those upper people that put him in his place. When he crossed that line to them other people, you understand what I'm saying? When he crossed that line, that's when they brought him down. They're just using this as a storyline, like she said, the cover up. That's what the cover up is. The bigger picture, he shouldn't have never went after those people that put him in place. So when he bit their hand, they took him down, and that's just the bottom line.
Well, listen, you can't not see, and this is what we're here to do, y'all. We're here to like look at all the angles, right? And I have yet to see Aerosmith being brought to the up on charges, or Slade, or Mega Death, or any of them people, Kenny Rogers, like all of these people who created the idea of drugs, sex, and rock and roll. Like that was just a regular thing, and they all go together. And so there are people who have done far, like the charges that this guy's gotten, like this is light work compared to what they used to do back in the day, back before I had a camera. Exactly. You know what I mean? So, but nobody was in line. So here's something I've been cooking on, y'all. There is something about us as a people, black people, right? There is something about us that whatever we get into, if we take it to we all the way there with it, right? Like if we playing basketball, we not just going to shoot the ball and just do some layups. No, we got to do a reverse double pump backward
Elevate.
slam, right? Like it's not enough to just be basic, right? We saw the whole thing even with Shador Sanders, Deion Sanders' son, right? My man lost millions of dollars because he walked out with a flashy jewelry and he's a hey, I believe in myself. So it's that I think the world has almost a vendetta against successful black people who exude a certain amount of confidence,
Mhm.
specifically black men who exude a certain amount of confidence. There is something about it that all of this stuff happening, it just seems like too much coincidence that like T Money talked about, like the deal going bad, and then all of this stuff just like pancaking on to
They
put
got all of them.
to put
But
another black
it
man.
got,
Hold
hey,
on, hold on,
Cal, but
hold
it,
on, bro.
it,
Hold on. I'm gonna let you go in a minute. To put another black man in.
I, I
Yeah.
think we fool ourselves to thinking that just because we get money that we're on the same playing field as them.
right, right.
We think we can do it because no, like you said, all the others didn't go to jail, but the same thing with the other panel we were just on. Um, about Shannon Sharp. Y'all think just because you got money, you could play how they play. You can't.
No, you
It's
can't.
sad, but you can't play how they play, and we have to be smart enough to
Right.
know our limits. We gotta play them at their own game. Like I said in my podcast, I can't wait till we start wising up and really just play it right. All right, so what? We gotta be a little humble. Okay, so what?
But we ain't gonna
But
be
is
humble.
it, but
Yeah.
here,
Right.
is it confidence or are we just too loud?
Is it confidence or
Too
are we too
loud.
cocky?
Too
Just
loud.
as
Too
Too
we
loud.
are
loud. Too
too
cocky.
loud. Look,
Too
we
loud.
can definitely take what we get and feel like we're on the same level or even keep reaching, but we're too loud. You know
Right.
Too
how,
loud.
remember in Love and Basketball where she was playing and she shot it and she kind of stayed there and the game was still going on, right? And that's how black people are like when you get that, we want to sit in that, we want to bling in that for like a month. When in that month you could have kept going on and we could have get. So I don't think it's confidence. I think just we're too
Yeah.
loud with it.
Correct.
And
I
I'm
agree
not
with that.
exactly sure if that's because we feel we have to continue to prove ourselves, but not doing it smart, strategically, or any other type of way. There's nothing wrong with confidence. We
Go
can
ahead.
have our confidence.
Jeff is about to burst. So like, let him go, and then Hazel, let me hear from you. Go ahead.
So when you say that we're too loud, how loud was Emmett Till? He wasn't
Mm.
loud at all. You go back in the 50s and 60s and look at some people like Medgar Evers. He wasn't loud. He just stood up for what he stood up for. Fred Hampton was loud, but he was loud and proud about the law and doing things to improve his community. What happened? Huey P. Newton wasn't loud either outside of the law. What they were doing was standing up for the community. So it doesn't matter if we're loud, if we are peacefully marching in Memphis, standing on a balcony. It doesn't matter if we are a bit fiery at the Audubon ballroom in New York, Harlem. It doesn't matter what we do. They have decided that we need to stay in our place, irregardless or irrespective of how we act. We used to walk around in hard bottom shoes and suits, and they would call our men uppity, Negroes. They didn't use the Negro term though. So when you say that we're too loud, I reject that notion because it's saying that we can't be who we are and be successful. That's what I like about Shadur and the Sanders family. I don't think he lost money because he was loud. I think he lost money because they wanted to send a message. You have too much confidence, just like they told Tiger Woods when he became a pro, just like they tried to tell Venus Williams when she became a pro. Why are you so confident? They're always trying to ebb away at our confidence. And when we surrender it by saying we're too loud, they don't have to do the work anymore.
We
That's all
do
I
it
got.
to ourselves.
It's just I look at that
Kelvin
two
J.
different ways. That's two different ways. That's true. We can
Yeah.
be loud, but at the same time, you when I look at it this way. When they told Arsenio don't have Farrakhan on, he did. He was put off the show the next day. When they told Michael Jackson, when Michael Jackson talked about the Jews, he was done. So, like you say, they put us in our place, but at the same time, we can be loud, but we can stand on what we stand on because they're gonna put us in that category anyway, loud or
Anyway.
not, because no matter what we do or what we say, they're gonna put us in that category. It's a control factor. Bill Cosby wanted to buy NBC. What happened to him? Boom, all the stuff came out on him.
Too much
So,
coincidence. Too much coincidence. It's too much coincidence.
right. So it's just like no matter what we try to do. So my thing, yes, if we loud, we can sit back and silence is the key. Sometimes when you
Smart
silent,
about
you
it.
don't have to say nothing. You don't have to say nothing, and people just watch. So when you sound, the loudness I think comes when we just flaunt it. Deion Sanders' son was flaunting it. They said, "Well, you really don't need no money. Why do you need to go number one when you got kids that's coming up?" Now, yes, he bleed the bling bling out, but instead of just being humble and just being who he was, it could have worked out for him great, but he didn't do
But
that.
you
All right.
remember Deion
Let me
Sanders'
get.
song "Must Be the Money." He got that from his daddy. Must
It
be
must be the money.
Yeah.
he got
Go
that from.
ahead,
I'm
Hazel.
telling you, go to the daddy. Go to the
Go,
daddy.
go ahead, Hazel. Then we gotta go back to the video because we got more video to uncover here. Go ahead.
So I appreciate what was just said because what came to my mind is the Willie Lynch syndrome. It's really no different. It's no it's no different than when they demasculated the men and made the women masculine in that way, right? Like you have to be this and you have to be that. It's really no different. The concept, the 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 ideology behind it is the same because of where we are. That part is not going to change. I think that it's super important though to understand not necessarily your position, but understand that you should not allow your ego and your pride to supersede
Right.
what has been blessed upon you or been given to you or have positioned you, because in doing so there's so many people that's connected to you that can lose out too. And if when I believe that when we understand that I am because you are and you are because I am, when we understand that Asante proverb, that we will begin to move a little differently. And yes, you can be very proud of what you've been what your gifts and your talents are, right? You can be very proud in that, but also understand that it can easily be taken away or misdirected or misguided because of your ego or your pride. So be very mindful of that. And also we can't pick and choose when we want to be on somebody's coattail and then when we don't want to. Like, how does that work? Taking all of those things into consideration.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. All right, let's check out this video that I found. Old video of Cassie talking about sex with in the club, going viral. Let's hear what she got to say.
People going crazy, like people really just like let us chill, which is nice. But it is hard when you're in the public eye for sure.
Can it change things, or you guys have just learned to, you know what?
You just learn, I think you just learn to adapt to it after a while. Because if you have love for each other, then there's nothing that should get in the way of that.
Okay, final question. Craziest place you've smashed?
Ooh, craziest place I've been. Okay, it wasn't like dirty, but it was at a club. It was at a club.
Which club?
And I'm not telling you.
Oh my God.
It was in a very clean situation. I know that for sure.
What city was the club in?
Miami.
Miami Club.
Yeah.
11.
No.
Story.
No.
Oh my gosh.
I don't
Okay.
even know if the club exists anymore.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, club life. Were there anyone watching?
No. That would be fire. It was a quick moment.
Quick little one.
Yeah.
Quick little just a tip. Just a tip with Cassie Ventura, Crystal B. Love a loser. Go get it.
All right. So this was her doing a quick interview, and certain things that I just sometimes I just observe and I see it kind of differently. And people forget too that Cassie was a celebrity. Like her when her song popped off, ding 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 ding. What's the name of that song? Ding 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 ding. I can't tell
Yeah.
me nothing.
Yeah.
I did something like that, right? She had now. I'm not saying she had a real like long career or
Me and
anything.
you. That was what it's
Yeah,
called. Me and you.
we get me and you. Okay. Um, so she had some notoriety. I wouldn't say that she had a great career. She stuck with him also because he had her on a 10-year like a 10 record deal or something like that. Like she was supposed to do all these records and do all this stuff, and that one record that she did turned out to be it. Her career didn't go any further. She was just around for play.
She
And
was calm.
yeah, yeah. And um part of what I always want to do with this show, right? As we talk about these things, I don't want this to be just a normal kind of podcast where people just kind of, this is not about gossip, and it's not really technically about them, right? Because we don't know them, and I don't care. I really don't care about these people. You know what I mean? I really don't care about these rich people. Okay, because when they finish, they still gonna be rich. Okay. But what I want to kind of the talk to the person who's watching, who may be in these kind of situations. Somebody offered you an opportunity, and
Mm.
and you took it, and you realize it's not what they said it was going to be. And this probably happens a lot in the music industry.
Mm.
you know
Yeah.
Somebody
Yeah.
say you going they go, oh, I'm gonna do this for you, and I'm gonna do that for you, and I'm gonna do this, and
Definitely.
and you could get held up. Now, people call her she's a victim of this abuse, and yeah, she is a victim of abuse, right? But at the same time, everybody has the onus to make wise decisions for yourself. At some point in time, y'all, I know I heard Stockholm syndrome. I heard all of those things. People saying she was young, all of these things. But at some point in time, you have to take some kind of accountability for the choices you make.
And unfortunately, it was 10 years later. And I think that that's where the problem comes from. Everybody thinks it's on their time when it's the outside looking in. Why'd you stay so long? You should have left the first time. You should have left the second time. Oh my gosh. Yes, eventually they do, but it's on their timing, unfortunately. And hers was 10 years.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So
And I think a lot of
go ahead, Tiff. Go ahead.
I was gonna say a lot agreeing with you. Um, a lot of times survivors stay quiet because they're trying to survive.
Mhm.
And if you look at this also, yes, she was a celebrity, but there still was a power dynamic, right? Like he still was way more
Bully.
famous, had way more money than her. And so this easily could be, a parent and a child. I mean, a younger person, right? Like this dynamic could be going on. And so we have to like stop saying, well, why did she stay? Why did she stay so long? Why didn't she speak up? Because oftentimes you have to, it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of just believing in yourself that you are going to be okay once you are in that psychological space, right? Where you're being harmed or you're in harm. So we have to stop saying that. And then to speak to the people that may be going through that, it's never too late. It's never too late to just say, I don't like this. This
Mhm.
is not for me, right? Because it's not worth selling your soul. It's not worth losing your mind. And it's definitely not worth sacrificing your body at the end of the day.
Is that what Will Smith going through with Jayla? Flipping it.
Mm,
is that the same
I don't
thing?
think it's the same.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Look, we gonna stay on. Hold
Manipulation,
on,
but
hold on. We gonna stay
no.
on this case because that's
I know. I'm
that's
just saying. I just want to flip
that's
it.
a
You
whole
know.
different
I
direction.
know. I just want to flip it because he's just like torn and woo. But go ahead.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
whole
yeah.
different entanglement.
Definitely is.
So look, so how about this, you guys? This is something that I'm interested in hearing more about. Her husband was
Mm.
sitting in the place listening to all these stories,
God bless them.
listening
Yeah.
to her being involved in these freak offs and these multiple
Mm.
partner people coming in and like
Mouth
But
sores
when he around,
no, well
at
he
the
was her trainer,
end.
which we not
but we
even
don't
gonna
think that he saw anything.
he that wasn't his look he wasn't invited to that party. He was
Oh.
you know and look somebody could even have something to say about that, like I'm paying you to train my woman and you go and help yourself to her. you know
That's like a porn star, but for married to a man, that's like a porn star, and she's married, and she got to deal with all those men.
man,
Mm.
listen, so like if you're her husband and you have to
Jesus.
hear all that, like because women do a pretty good job of like masking or covering up their
Mm.
situation.
Closeted, yeah, right.
Yeah,
In
yeah, yeah.
situations,
Yeah, that body count, they tell me whatever
is
she tell
just
you, multiply it by three, because she
Oh,
they say she got a couple of them that she ain't talked about.
oh, jeez.
I forgot about.
I could have been the courtroom.
That is that is really really tough. But I think she's able to talk about it because he knows she feels safe with him.
Do you
Yeah.
think
They've
he
had
knows? You think he knew all of
he
that?
knows he knows. You
I
want to
don't
know
think
why? Because
so.
they've
Yeah.
Did
already
he storm
she
out? I
talked to
heard
him.
he stormed out. Did he storm out?
I heard
On
he
the
stormed out
ocean.
I
too.
heard his kids. I heard Diddy's kids stormed out. I didn't hear that the husband knows because through my research, they already have two children, and her replaying everything, a while ago, she wanted to kill herself. Her husband knows what she has endured. He's a safe place for her. I'm not saying that he knew from the beginning,
Bless his
but when a
heart.
woman finds somebody who is safe, she's going to tell him I gotta prepare you before you hear it anyway.
Yeah.
So he knows, and for him to stick by her, it really shows a lot. I am actually surprised that she was able to move on and have children. I mean,
Right.
I don't know, because that's still a lot that she's dealing with.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
let me get Hazel J in here on a minute in here in a second, but you know, I'm just thinking that like as a man, like we we got four men on this panel, right? As a man, men have a thought that of purity for our wife, of like we want her to be the least touched. We want her to be have the least amount of situations, and whatever it is, if it's more than we were thinking, we just don't want to know. So whether you say he knew or not, he didn't know all of this. He didn't know about this milking situation, and like like listen. And
Because
so
Yeah.
we only supposed to be a freak for y'all, for our man.
That's
exactly.
it.
So look, I wonder like what happens after this. If I was her, if I was Cassie, there's no way I would have got on that stand. I would have said, "Look, y'all do whatever. Look, she already got the money.
Mm.
Yeah.
So like,
She
She
couldn't
was
what
she
is what
couldn't
is
subpoenaed.
she
ignore a federal
She
subpoena.
was subpoenaed. She
Yeah,
had
she
to do
has
it.
to.
right?
Even
But she can't say what like nobody can make you.
She got to say it, Doc.
gotta
Well,
say
no,
it, or
no,
she going to
well,
jail.
no. You're right in that, Kevin. She
complete the
could have
fifth.
said, "I plead the fifth." Well, not
Yeah,
plead the
she
fifth
could.
because she wasn't um she's not accused, but she could say, I don't recall.
I don't
I
recall.
don't recall. I don't.
Hmm.
She could do that, but she couldn't refuse the subpoena. She had to show up, or that, or either go to jail. And I don't know how that would have worked out for her.
Yeah. Go ahead, Hazel.
That you left us speechless, good doctor. Because you said after a man knowing what she's been through,
Yes.
that is hard.
Yes.
After, I mean, like you said, you don't know from A, A to M.
Right.
You're like, okay, whew, that was rough. But then you go to N and on, like, oh, wait a minute.
Right.
Do you stay and say, now, if you don't tell her, it's almost like a woman who doesn't tell her husband. Hear me out. A woman that she gets married, but she don't tell her husband she lost both of her breasts, but she don't tell him that until they get married. And then they get married, and then they both, what happens? What do you do? Instead of just saying,
She wrote a book and she wanted Diddy to read it, and that's how she was able to get that money. Her husband was there. It was probably his idea to say, "Hey, get this ninja for some money because you went through a lot." So he know a chunk of something.
I mean, I think the point is
And
he knows, but he don't want to hear it again. Okay, you can hear the story. You don't want to hear it again. Hey,
In front of everybody, in front of the world.
you don't want to hear it again. That's all.
To the point that you got to walk out because you can't take it no more.
I don't want to hear it the first time.
Yeah. And when he went down on me, and then he took the call, and then Billy
That date the strippers. What about the men that marry the strippers and everything else? Like, I don't know. I ain't a man, but
them
so
they ain't got to
They
agree about it.
strong. They some strong men because I couldn't have done it.
No way.
So what I was going, I'm sorry, it took me a minute to unmute and then my stuff's about to die. So what I wanted to say was, right, wrong, or indifferent, it takes a lot of courage for someone to go up and speak and pour out of them that information, regardless of what their motive is. That's just courage, because you get judged for so many less, right? So to be judged and perceived for that, right, wrong, or indifferent. Now, it could have been a strategic move, because it's and someone kept referencing, I think Mr. Marcus kept referencing Trump. It's no different, like in that vein, you're never going to forget Trump, no matter what. Like, everybody's going to know him. When you find yourself in these type of, no one's ever going to forget Kate. I didn't even know who she was, and I didn't know she had a song or nothing. So, but now I know. I'm never going to forget who this person is, right? Never gonna forget it. So it could be but irregardless of whatever the motive was behind it, right, wrong, or indifferent, it still takes a lot of courage to get up and to do that. And for the husband, right, wrong, or indifferent, whether he encouraged it or didn't know or whatever, that takes a lot for a person who's connected to you to sit there and hear it. And then what about the children? Nobody even talking about the children. What's going on with the children? What's happening to them? How are they feeling? What are people saying about them and doing to them? So all of these things, I really believe therapy needs to happen. Therapy needs to be put in place. Family therapy, individual therapy, all types of therapy, family counseling, marriage counseling, all these things need to be put in place for real, because again, this is impacting other people, and it's triggering. You can see the triggering, it's a triggering effect. It's happening, and other people's stuff is coming up. Their stuff that they thought they pushed to the side or they tucked down under is now coming up. So how do you asked the question earlier? Well, this is not about, we don't really care about them per se, because they're going to be who they're going to be, right? But what about the people who are watching and hearing and feeling it? What do you do then? Go get help. Go really be truthful with your experiences, right, wrong, or indifferent, no matter how traumatic they're. Because I tell people all the time, you cannot run from you. No matter how much makeup you put on, how many fancy clothes you put on, you cannot run from you. Who you are based off of your experiences and so forth. Go get the help you need. It's okay.
Trump's
Absolutely.
wife,
Absolutely.
Trump's wife wasn't at the trial.
So check out this one, y'all. Crisis management publicist on Diddy's team speaks about his reputation, grooming allegations, Cassie's cross-examination, and more. So this is his publicist. See what she has to say.
Questioning, she did testify that it may be accurate to say that that may have ruined Diddy's reputation. What are your thoughts on that?
100%. Again, two consenting adults, what they do in their bedroom is not for us to judge. It's not for us to pontificate. It has nothing to do with us. But I do believe that lawsuit absolutely triggered something. And, here we are, 9.5 months later, Southern District of New York.
There was a point where Cassie was asked about putting out her November 2023 lawsuit. And it seemed like the defense was trying to make a connection between the freak-offs, the private freak-offs, and them becoming public once Cassie put out her lawsuit. She did testify that after questioning, she did testify that it may be accurate to say that that may have ruined Diddy's reputation. What are your thoughts on that?
100%. Again, two consenting adults, what they do in their bedroom is not for us to judge. It's not for us to pontificate. It has nothing to do with us. But I do believe that lawsuit absolutely triggered something. And, here we are, 9.5 months later, Southern.
All right. What do y'all think about this? Two consenting adults. This case is essentially she's saying this is pointless. It's two consenting adults deciding to have a relationship in the way that they decided to do it. What's y'all thoughts?
I agree. They both agreed. Even though I think once she got into it, then she was trying to get out of like Tina Turner.
I feel like all of that would have been cool until that video was released.
Mm-hmm. 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 True.
So you blame the video? You think it's the video that did it? You think the video did it?
I think that the video is what could kind of eliminate the thought of the two consenting adults, the consent part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But he's still up on racketeering charges.
That racketeering is going to be really, really difficult to prove. Usually when they put racketeering in it, they have something that really shows the enterprise,
criminal enterprise,
the enterprise and the worker and the linking of the enterprise, and that's the part that's going to be difficult with how they're starting. Unless they got some real solid stuff that they're just holding back and they're going to bring out later, it's going to be difficult to show that, because all of the people who were at the freak-offs signed an NDA. They were all adults. The people that were brought in that were the alleged prostitutes, they were brought in as entertainment and they were compensated as entertainers. Mm-hmm. And anything that happened outside of that, I'm positive the defense is going to say it was just consensual sex between adults. And so this is the part that's going to be really interesting from my perspective, because at his level, one thing that he did do is he did make sure that anything he had anyone sign protected him. And if he's going to go back to those contracts that he had those entertainers sign, I think from the legal standpoint, again, not the moral standpoint, I think it may be more difficult for the federal prosecutors to make those charges stick.
I want to be hard to prove, but there's also supposedly some doctors, some, that provided IVs and drugs, and other people. They're trying to also pin, like, drugs and everything like that onto this case as well. from what I am hearing, to make this kind of racketeering thing stick. So I am curious to how this is going to end.
Well, Cal, you said something earlier, and I think it's true. What's the difference between P. Diddy, why I said it, and Hugh Hefner? Because Hugh Hefner did the same thing, but what's the difference between Diddy and Hugh Hefner? Because they both did kind of was in the same thing. So
nobody got videos.
There you go. There you go.
Didn't matter. Didn't matter with Cosby. None of that mattered with Cosby because there were women who Cosby met in Hugh Hefner's Playboy Mansion that still testified of improprieties. So whether it was video or evidence or not, it was still brought up that this is what happened 30 something years ago, 40 something years ago,
right. But it didn't stick.
Brought into a modern testimony.
But it didn't stick though.
It stuck enough for him to go to jail. Yeah, even though he won on appeal, but it stuck enough for him to get convicted.
Well, he got convicted on the recent, not the Hugh Hefner. I'm just saying.
But those young ladies were part of building a character trait.
Case. Okay, right.
And so that's kind of what's happening now with Diddy. Cassie is helping to build a character trait. This is part of what they're doing with her. It's what they did with Bill Cosby with that case. It's what they did with R. Kelly with that case. This is what they do now. They will assassinate the character.
Correct.
And then bring the charges around.
That's
and
true.
The public is already invested in that assassination. It's
That's
easier
true.
for them to accept these flimsy charges. I'm not saying these charges against Diddy are flimsy or the ones against R. Kelly were flimsy. I'm just saying that once they get you emotionally invested in that assassination of the character, then those charges seem magnified.
So how did Kumo did not Kumo did the guy from the Run DMC's brother? How did he get off? He went to another country, right?
About Russell Simmons.
Russell Simmons. So he left just in time before they can get him. So I'm just saying that's smart. I'm not saying I'm not condoning what he did, but he was smart enough to get out of town and say, forget all of this, I'm out.
All right, let's check out this video here and let me get your comments on this.
By 30 years, you see how much he really did transform the hip hop industry.
Sean Diddy Combs has been embroiled in controversy and faces federal sex crime charges. What will his legacy become? Here's what we know now.
It wasn't.
Hold on, I need to break this up for a minute. So before we hear what they have to say, somebody tell me, what will his legacy be now?
It would still be known for what he did, but it's gonna have a stain on it. That's all.
If he ends up going to prison,
be like O.J. Simpson.
are we going to block out all his music?
No.
If you start blocking his music, you got like half the 90s.
No.
Right?
No, it's not gonna stop. No, it's not gonna stop. It's not gonna stop.
All right, let's hear
it. Can't stop, won't stop.
It doesn't matter if he goes to jail or not. It doesn't matter if he goes to prison or not. The damage to his reputation is done, and there are some people that will never do anything associated with him at all.
Ever.
There's no comeback after this. It's just not going to happen.
They tried that with Bill Cosby, but they let the Cosby Show back on.
Yeah, but they didn't let him back on.
Which I watched all the seasons all over again.
Me too.
Yeah, but they still making. He's still making money though, even though they let him back on. He's still making money. Well, P. Diddy, who did it, will he make money? Yes, I'll say yes.
Yeah, people still gonna buy Ciroc.
Yeah, I think and they're gonna do a movie. They're gonna do a movie on it, and everybody gonna go to the movies and watch it.
And also, there's a lot of things we don't know that Diddy did that we're still going to be purchasing that we don't know that he has a hand in. So,
and with that, dang, I forgot.
I just hope the preacher ain't in it. Y'all know who I'm talking about. I ain't gonna say that. Why you laughing, Bishop? Come on. I hope the bishop ain't in it.
We hope the bishop
step down.
He didn't step down. And,
that's what I was going to say. So hopefully nobody else who's a black man in power and position follow this. This is not the strategy to follow. This is you run from this formula, this strategy, right? And hopefully people really pay attention, whether you're on this high level or not. You pay attention. Look at really what's ahead of you. You ain't that big, baby. Not for real. No, you're not. So pay attention and don't risk for the don't risk. But at the end of the day, this is just he just gonna be another black man who this happened to, another black man scandal, and then they gonna move on and find another black man to scandal and continue.
So wait a minute. So wait a minute, Dr. Hazel J. So what are you really saying? Are you saying that we as black men should just sit still and stay in our place?
That's definitely not what I said.
Make no waves, and you want look, it's
that's
already.
not what I said. I'm saying
the flex is already in us.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying understand where you are and what field you playing in. It is not conducive to whatever you're trying to aim for. You are risking. You've made yourself a whole liability at the sake of not paying attention to the field that you're playing in. You have to understand where you are, right, wrong, or indifferent. Once you enter to the field, now you're playing their game, and you need to understand offensive deep. Come on, y'all. Y'all know sports. I don't know sports like that, but I got enough sense to know offensive defense, when to sit my tail down and when to get up and play, when to be strategic and when to, you know what I'm saying, do what I got to do. Do I got to shuck? Do I got to drive? Do I got to shoot? Do I got to, what I got to do? I'm in the field. I gotta understand where I'm at. And if you're not going to understand your position, and you think now all of a sudden because you in the field and you number one, that now you can be the coach, you could be the doggone owner, you can be this and you can be that. No, they're gonna sit your tail down one way or another. So understand your position.
You may have a lot of
want to play the game in the way they're telling you, then you break away. Right, wrong, or different. However people feel about Kanye West. I just saw a post about what he said. He said, I broke away from it, and now they are trying to. And they keep presenting Kanye West as being crazy and being all these things. But at the end of the day, people can frame you however they want to. You can be in a small frame or a big frame. It is your choice to be able to say, hey, you know what? I either am going to play and I'm going to play it well, or I'm going to fall back and take what I have and be able to go sit down somewhere. But you can't go around trying to emulate something that ain't working. Yo, it ain't working. Bill Cosby tried it.
All right. Let me get Tiffany in on this. You too quiet. Pop in here. Tell me your thoughts on this, my man. And look, Combs, it says Combs is being held in a solitude with special housing unit at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center. Federal jail that housed R. Kelly, Epstein. Look, they made sure that they put this in there. R. Kelly, Epstein, Maxwell, 6ix9ine.
Epstein ain't dead. Epstein ain't dead.
The other thing that I was thinking about too is I feel like before this all came about, he was already dealing with this. He was, if you look like his facial, like he just started looking old and like he was just going through something. So yes, I think a lot of people want to see him pay for not only this, but the other things that he has done. But there is nothing more damaging than that, this mind and the karma, right? Just coming back on you. I also thought about when we were talking, somebody was saying about his kids being in there. Like, how are people like the three I think he has 3 or 4 daughters, right?
Yeah, I got them on the screen now.
How is that gonna affect like them dating, right? Because I'm like, are people, the young men that they might encounter, are they gonna be like, oh, are you like your daddy, you a freak, you know what I mean? Like, it's just it's so many different layers that this is going to affect as well. So
Yeah, yeah. And this is a good point, you guys. Let's talk about that. Combs, it says Combs' children. Chance Combs, that's him there to the left. Let's see, Justin Combs. We got Delia, Star Combs, Jesse James Combs, and Christian Combs.
Jesse James.
Yeah, and
Delilah.
Quincy Brown,
Delilah, yeah.
which is Al B. Shore's son. I think this is him right here.
No, that's
No, it's not him.
No.
He's over there by
He's in
that
the back
tall
with
guy
the
with the
glasses.
brown on. Yeah, I actually had the pleasure of working with him on set before.
This you said with the brown jacket on. This him?
No, he's behind the
No,
guy with
he's
the brown
behind
jacket.
him.
Yeah, that's him right
The
there.
guy with the blonde hair.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Al B.
Yes.
Shore's son.
He
Right.
do look like Al B. Shore.
Yeah.
He
Yes.
does look like Al B. Shore.
Ain't no denying
And
it.
so
Mm-mm.
the one that you were talking about at first, that's Justin. That's the one that he had, and
Justin.
his mom was underage when he had
Okay.
him with him.
It-
That's just.
Didn't they used to live here? Did they leave? They live here in
Yeah,
Atlanta?
they used to live in
Yes.
Atlanta. Where
Mhm.
Justin's. Remember he had a restaurant, Justin's.
Yeah,
I love that restaurant.
It was so good,
First
yes.
time I went to Atlanta, I stayed in there all Sunday.
That food was nasty as all get out. I couldn't
What?
stand that food.
Really?
No, I don't care what
like
nobody said.
Justin's.
That food at Justin's was nasty as all get out. I was mad as all. It was
Really?
expensive and nasty.
Well, I'm from so in California, me being from California,
They didn't have no
we
justice.
live for Atlanta food
No,
and
we
Houston
don't.
food
They
and
didn't have
all
no
of
justice.
that. She
They
said,
didn't have
"No,
no
we
justice.
don't.
They didn't have no
No, we didn't have
justice.
justice.
No justice. No justice.
No
All right,
justice."
look.
You said the food did you no justice?
No justice. No Roger. No Roger. No rerun. No rent. No.
You went to the wrong place. If you ain't eat good here, you ain't.
Man, I don't know what y'all. This food is totally different in California, yo. The food in California tastes way, at least from the Bay, it tastes way better.
And listen, y'all. I got here's another point. And there's so many points here, y'all. But I'm like interested in points that I haven't heard anybody cover or things I saw that I didn't see other people maybe have not seen. You know, when they did the raid of Diddy's house, and they went all through his house, and they was kicking in the doors, and they went to his bedroom, and they went to the in there, and all the stuff that they found. You know what? And they showed the camera, and they flashed around his room. You know what I saw?
Baby oil.
No.
What you say? What you say?
Man, they listen. They let it all go about the baby oil today. Yeesh. Like they was serious about the baby oil.
Boy, they wore that thing out.
But look, what I saw.
What did you see?
I saw Diddy had his Bible up on the.
You were trying to get right
on the coffee stand. On the coffee, I mean, not on the side table, like the and it was one of them. It was the Bible that like you go get a case for. It was in a case. You know, it wasn't no like Gideon Bible that you picked up from the hotel or something.
You know, but you know who brought him that Bible, right?
I don't know who.
TDJs.
Y'all wrong. Y'all wrong. Y'all so wrong. Y'all so wrong. Y'all so wrong.
He's
Y'all
resigning.
wrong.
He's resigning, though. He's resigning. He's stepping down.
That's not the point. Like I just thought of that. I just saw him wearing this diamond encrusted cross, and he's all in white, and
I just feel like his whole everything changed about him after Kim passed. Like you can see just I don't know if that was the breaking point for him to just like realize like I'm a monster. But everything to me just changed.
This continent change. Yeah. I mean, I think like we all stated earlier, once you sell your soul and being in the music industry, everybody heard about how Puff was. Period. I've heard about even, you know, how everybody was back in the day. It just don't stop. You know, God always give you a way of escape, but if you don't use that way of escape, this is who he was. There wasn't no changing. He's been that way, and you know, y'all heard he done went slacking from animals to pigs to preachers to kids and to, you know, everybody. So now it's just coming out. That's the sad part. You know,
And everybody want to go to the prayer closet when it's crumbling down.
yeah,
That's what it is. They want to build the prayer closet when it started crumbling down on them. Because had he had, I mean, we don't know, but we can only believe or think that had he had not
allegedly,
gotten caught, or allegedly had
allegedly,
gotten
yeah,
caught, he would continue on this
correct,
monstrous path.
correct,
But
correct,
because it started
yeah,
coming down on him,
correct,
he got the Bible from the past.
right,
This is a fascinating point because what we are consuming is what we're being fed.
right,
Here's my point. Dave Chappelle basically told you about the game. He told you how they were playing mental tricks on him to make him think he was insane. They were using CIA tactics on Dave Chappelle. The door was on the right one day. They replaster it and put it on the left and think that he wasn't smart enough to figure out what was happening. And then when they asked him to put the dress on, he said, I ain't gonna do it.
right,
And guess what they told him? This is what Dave Chappelle said. He said, by the time you land, your name will be destroyed.
yeah,
And what did they do to Dave Chappelle? They started assassinating his
right,
character. They said he was this, they said he was that, all that, and he stuck to his guns. And
yeah,
eventually he won the game. He came back and he's making more money now than
right,
he lost with Comedy Central. Here is the point. We can talk all we want about what they found, what they did, and what Puff did, and all this other stuff. We are being fed a message. And if we keep eating this rotten fruit, we're going to be sick. So I'm just saying, keep a level head, do
right,
your own research.
right.
Don't believe everything that you hear because right now there's a genocide going on the other side of the world, and you don't hear nothing about it.
Mhm. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
It's a distraction, and there's always a distraction. And you know, I see you, Hazel. Look, the one thing that I've also observed, besides that point, that if they got you all looking, look over here, there's something going on over there, right? Um, there is something to that something that we experience now that probably never have. Like everybody's got a camera, everything is on display. It's like everything's a show, you know? And what I've discovered is you should question everything. Even the things that you might see that with let's say with Cassie in this case. And so, you know, she was only 19 and she was, you know, and she's, you know, she did all these things and it's all his fault. He the big bad man, right? I want to see it from I want to see all the angles. Yes, all of that is true. She was victimized. What else are we not seeing? Somebody tell me what else are we not seeing? Because there's always something else. There's always
We're
something.
not we're not seeing what was going on emotionally behind doors. And also, we're not seeing the grooming and the gradual. Yeah, it's Diddy didn't come when she was 19 on that first date. It was the monster,
Right.
right? It was gradual. We don't know the pillow talking and this. And we were saying she was a celebrity. Yes, she was a celebrity and she had that. But like you said, although the business, the promises behind the scene. We still don't know what he was saying in the pillow talk. He didn't just introduce her to the freak offs. He made love to her first before he did all that. And so that is what people are missing, their personal relationship, regardless of the abuse,
Yeah.
regardless of all that. I think that that's what people are missing, and that's what they're not questioning.
Yeah. That's a good point as well. they said that their relationship didn't happen until like 3 years after he was already working with her. So they was like they was platonic, and then after 3 years, which was somewhere around after she turned 21, then
That's a
all
lie.
these things start happening. So it
The
maybe
That's a
grooming.
lie. That's a cover up trying to make him. No, she was 17, 18. No, she's a beautiful
16.
woman. 16.
16.
yeah,
Yes.
whatever her
No,
age
that's a lie.
was, they because he was because she knew him to be involved with Kim Porter and they were together, and she even was around Kim Porter
Exactly.
when they were together.
You heard them text messages.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
R. Kelly
I
Sr.
miss you, baby. I love you. I can't wait to be with you. I miss you so much. Mm,
R. Kelly
It
no,
Sr.
was
creeping, sipping
it
and
was
dipping.
It
R.
was
Kelly
also
Sr.
said, allegedly, and I heard this when all this started coming off, that Kim Porter was the one that had a discussion with Cassie prior to her passing and tried to warn her and was giving her the secrets and was helping her plan her exit. And then Kim Porter is no longer with us. So that's what I heard. Do you guys remember hearing that as well?
Yes,
Okay, yes.
it's just like, and I keep going back to Trump. His wife fell down the steps.
which one, Ivanka?
Yeah, the one that he buried at the golf course.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying it's just funny how when stories about to come out, people just fall off. Bloop, bloop. And
Yeah,
then
yeah. I think there's very few things that are coincidental.
right. Yeah. Yes.
I,
Yeah.
whether it's this case, whether it's
Now Trump can pardon. Now,
Cosby
Trump can pardon him.
can pardon who? Diddy?
Yes.
He probably.
Federal charges.
Well, I want to go back to, if we can, about what Mr. Miller was saying about how distractions and paying attention, right? While there's something happening somewhere else and we have this, there's something else brewing up. Like maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist, like for real, but there's other things brewing up, getting ready to happen, and the goal is to always keep us distracted. And with that being said, honestly, this is no different really than, and we've kind of alluded to this, there's no different. That's what happened in the 2000s, in the 90s, in the 80s, in the 70s, in the 1800s, in the 1700s. It's no different. It's just that now all eyes, for real, like Tupac, all eyes on me. Like that's just what it is now. And again, I heard somebody mention trauma bonds. We're creating our own trauma bonds. We're kind of like perpetuating the trauma. When are we going to really start talking about the healing through the trauma, breaking those bonds? And also, right, wrong, or indifferent, birds of a feather flock together. You're attracted to who you are. So, irregardless of her age, irregardless of his age, there was something that was familiar in both of them, and that was they were drawn to each other, and they fed that. And I think that is a piece that could be missing. What drew them together? That they stuck together. Why did he continue to do that to her? Why did she? Why did she? Why? But does it even really matter? Like, how do we move past the why and just say, hey, y'all, don't go for the okie doke. Don't fall for it. Just don't fall for it. And this is how you don't fall for it. Go get your help. Go get your healing. Go get it and get connected to people, not on who you are now, but who you want to be in your future. If you want peace and happiness and joy and a real marriage and all those things, get with healthy people. If you don't want that, say that and go deal with the trauma and all that stuff. Like, you have to be real with yourself and understand, again, it's everything is a distraction. I think someone said that, don't be fooled, yo. Like, just don't be fooled. And we're getting caught up. To me, it's even in this, if we don't really focus on, we don't spend enough talking about the healing piece of it, or how to move, not to get caught up in it, we're also perpetuating it. We're buying into the very thing that we're saying that's not okay. In any capacity, we're still perpetuating it. So what are we going to do now? moving forward when we see people responding or showing up in the post, because you're feeding energy. Is energy, is frequency, is vibrations. You're feeding that. You're making it stronger and stronger. When are you going to take that power away, and how do we do that?
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's hard to do that. It's hard to do that when you're attractive. If someone offered you, or any of us on this panel, if someone said, "I'm gonna give you $500 million," and if you do this and it sounds good, our ears are going like, wow, $500 million. But we don't know all the rest of the details. And then once you get caught up into it, because it was attractive to her. I don't know about her parents, but it depends on how you're raised. But if someone offered you $500 million, that's kind of hard to, I don't care who you are, that's kind of hard to
Yeah,
turn down.
I think that the money plays a part, but being young and impressionable, who wouldn't want to work with Diddy back
Right,
then? Just like
right,
who wouldn't want to
correct,
work with R. Kelly? Like you didn't
right,
have to pay me. I sing your background out, and then you just get
right,
caught up.
correct.
You
I
just get
don't
caught
think
up.
I don't think in an abusive relationship or when you're being abused, you're not going in saying, "Oh, I'm gonna get abused. Let me run to
Right.
it." That's not what they're doing. And it is when I hear people say, "Go do this, go do that," it's really not that easy. When you are in a situation, it wasn't like that from the beginning. What happens is it turns like that during the time. And when you're living in abuse, you don't see it. It's easy to be the person on the outside looking in. But when you're in an abusive relationship, it becomes normal and you don't even know you're living an unnormal natural life because this has just progressed through from the beginning to the middle to the end until you start talking sense into yourself. It's not that you want to be abused. It's not that you're okay with it. It's just that right now you're in a situation, whether or not it's about the kids, whether or not it's about the stability, whether or not you think you love someone, it's about what you're enduring at the time and how it progressively grew into your life and became a lifestyle. So what you're actually trying to get a person to do is leave the lifestyle that they have only been building from the beginning. Nobody goes into a relationship and say, abuse me. Hey, I want to be abused. It's not what we're doing.
So did
So
he
when
pray on her? Did he
So
pray
so
on her?
hold on.
no,
So hold
I'm
on.
not.
So hold on. So hold on. Let me let's look. We gotta put a bow on this one because
Okay.
we almost out of time here. But let's go around the horn. And let me hear your thoughts on this. Somebody is in this situation. They got the golden handcuffs. This is what you call the golden handcuffs.
Right.
They in a situation that is good,
Mm.
and it's a situation like Cleisha said that who wouldn't want to be living in a palace, having the best of everything. You got servants, you flying here, you jet setting there. You got everything that a person would want except self love.
Freedom.
That's the point.
Except self, just loving, having pure love, and just being able to live the life that you desire outside of all the stuff. So Kenya, give me your thoughts on this, and then I'm going to hear from everybody, and then I'm gonna come back to you and have you give us your goodbye, and how people can.
Ooh, I've been burning because y'all know I go live on Tipsy Thursday, so it's almost time for me to get up out of here anyway. But it was so many points, but just to go for what you are saying, what we really need is self-awareness. That's what we're talking. We can talk about self-love, we can talk about, but it's really self-awareness. It's easy to say, go get help or go out and do this, but if you're not aware, if you don't know, like T was saying, you're falling into the norm. And so that's why you have to unlearn and relearn and be self-aware. And that's the only way that you can move past that. Then you can get to the self-love and the self-help and all those other good stuffs. But you have to be aware first.
Mr. Kelly Cole.
I agree 100%. And then I would go with Dr. Hazel as far as like once you become self-aware, you gotta go get that help. You gotta go heal. Diddy has to heal that trauma from his father. He has to heal that trauma from his mama. He has to heal from the rejection of him coming up. Like I don't want to mess up her name. Like she was saying, like go look at where Diddy comes from. The rejection, the trauma, all of the things he experienced. Diddy wasn't cool growing up. He became cool as he started to get to high school. I mean, started to get to college at Howard and started moving and shaking. But yeah, self awareness, and then I would say that brother needs to heal. The true victims are the kids. They're hearing this stuff, they're seeing this stuff. And like somebody said, if somebody said to my daughter, "Are you a freak like your father?" That's all I got to say, brother.
So, but before I go to the next person, this is a thought too, you guys. Yeah, y'all know that this whole thing is like easily 5 years and back, right? What we watching right now is things that happened 20 years ago. You know, it's like it's new to us, but I remember after this all came out, he said like I was messed up. When he's talked about those videos, he said I was messed up. I have I have prayed, I've repented, I've gone to therapy. Like look now, I know those are just things to say. I know that's just stuff to say, right? But at the same time, when does redemption happen? Like, how much has to happen? Because it's all new to us, and we like, oh, this is how, you know what I mean? But at the same time, for him, this is they are actually all dragging all this stuff back from their past. Neither one of them kind of live these lives currently. Like this is like their past relationships. So, at what point does a person live past their past, or are you stuck with your past?
He got caught. Doc. He got caught. I think getting caught. Like someone said earlier, you keep doing it, you keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it, and then once you get caught, like you just said, now I was bad. I was. He would have kept on doing it if he would have got caught. I think him getting caught kind of just like wow. Same thing with all of them. Every person that's in that fame life that get caught, they come out. That wasn't me. I don't know what happened. I'm not really like that. Yes, she was. She was really like that.
He
Now
did
you
that raid only 9 months ago. All that baby oil and everything's still there. He's still doing
So,
it. It's still there.
But maybe
Okay.
maybe he got with a consenting person who was
Slipping
okay
and
with the baby
slide. We
oil.
call them slip and slide records now.
And
No more bad
going
boys.
back to that question, really though, like I don't think it's really our position to really pass judgment and to say when somebody should be redeemed, right? Because if cameras were on our lives, if the fly was on the wall, what would we not want to be seen or said
My
about
Lord.
us? What are we hiding? What are we covering? It's easy to look at someone else, but when are you going to look at yourself, right? And really be true with where your struggles are, where your hangups are, the things that you are willing to compromise for the sake of, where are your insecurities and your fears and all of those things. So while it's easy to look at someone else, especially when they're in a position, look at yourself too, regardless if you have it or you don't have it. Look at yourself. Where are you at? Where are you positioned at? And if you're going to judge yourself. But God is so awesome and amazing that he did this thing where he gave Jesus and he died on the cross for our sins. And is when you get the opportunity to say, you know what, I messed up. I effed up. I did whatever, however you want to talk to God and you ask for forgiveness. That's all that really matters. And God will do the rest for you. But you got to be really honest with yourself. That's what it really boils down to. So, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, right is right and wrong is wrong through our eyes, through our lens. But to say that, it can't in actuality your past is what you do in the dark comes back to light. Like that's true indeed, right? You can't shake it, but you don't have to he doesn't have to condemn himself for it anymore. Like if he really asks for forgiveness, that's not our place to judge what his relationship looked like with God, but whether he has one or not, that's not our place to judge. At the end of the day, right is right and wrong is wrong, and it's impacting so many people. So if you don't want to be impacted, right, wrong, or indifferent, don't indulge in it or go do something that's different from it, right? That's what you do. And someone mentioned about the abuse. So I put in the chat, like, I'm not saying this from a person who hasn't been abused, right? And I've been in 2 abusive marriages. And at the end of the day, I had to look at myself and say, Hazel J, what part did I play in allowing this to happen to me, regardless of how horrible it felt, regardless of what it was, the trauma, the mental, emotional, the physical, the financial, it doesn't matter. There is still a part that I participated in. What am I taking accountability for? And what did I learn from it that I don't go and do the same thing again? I don't get attracted to that type of energy, that type of behavior. So again, it's still taking accountability. And we have to do that in anything that we do. Take accountability for what you are participating in, what you are allowing, because we all have choices at the end of the day.
Well said. Well said. Well said. Well said. Kalisha.
Only thing I do want to say, being in property management, I want everyone to know it's not about money. Being a property manager in one of the poorest cities in New Jersey, I come across a lot of domestic violence. There are a lot of women in my office and different things, restraining orders, yada yada yada. So I just want people to know it's not about money. It's not about that Diddy had all this money. Abuse is abuse, and like T said, it doesn't come off like right at the, right in the beginning. It is grooming, and these people fall in love, and it's hard when you love someone to just back out because you see the best in that person. Luckily for me, I have never been abused, but I've seen it. So that's the only thing I want to take away, want everyone to take away from. It's not about the money. It's about 2 people that indeed do need healing. And I do pray for their children. And sometimes going back to the point, does Diddy deserve it? Or what point does it happen? Sometimes in our lives, we have to hit the bottom for us to learn. So unfortunately, some people have to learn that way. And I'm just praying for all parties involved.
Well said. Tiffany. You and that mute button.
So, I think everyone has made great points. I think the self-awareness, and taking accountability. And after all that, I think the biggest thing too is that you have to give yourself grace and they both have to forgive themselves, because both of them, you have to think, have been or maybe still are in very dark spaces about this. This is very embarrassing, it's very shameful. You know, again, what people do in their bedrooms is really like their business. And right now, that is what is on display. And so I feel like it's just really important that they both do the work, right, to heal those parts of them, but they're gonna have to also forgive themselves, because he may never be redeemed. His somebody, I think somebody said how his legacy is going to be, it's tainted, right? And so now he's not going to ever be the same in the public view, right? So he can't look for his validation from other people. He's going to have to get that for himself, and that's going to come from him forgiving himself as well as with her as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff. Hey, you guys, we're gonna have to come back on here when this thing is over to talk about like what happens now, what you think, because nobody knows how this thing is gonna end. But it's because it's every day it's up and down, and prosecutor they did their thing today. All defense got on today. Like it's back and forth. So we'll see whatever happens with this, and then because that'll be a whole different conversation. Uh, Jeffrey Miller, my man, talk to me.
You know, I really believe as far as redemption goes, you make mistakes in the way that you treat other people, but they're only experiences in how you relate to yourself. And so everything that he's done, good, bad, and indifferent, it's made him who he is. And the minute he starts to embrace all of that as experience, he becomes able to grow, because through experience, you gain knowledge, With knowledge, you gain wisdom. And with wisdom, you can do anything you want to do. And so, ask for forgiveness for the wrongs that he did to other people and embrace everything else that he's experienced. And he'll be all right. He'll never recover from it from the public standpoint. That doesn't matter, though. Like Tiffany said, if he looks for that outside validation, he's going to be crushed. If he brings it from the inside, though, he'll be strong enough to weather this storm and keep on pushing. That's all I got.
Yeah, that's a good point. And given that who he is, he didn't get to be who he is by worrying about the outside validation. So, in order to climb that ladder and to be with them vipers, and somebody might say he became one of them, but it's an interesting thing, and it definitely has to be intrinsic. All right, brother Elder Marcus, talk to me.
Well, I look at it like this, and I think thanks for having me on with this great panel. I think being bullied is a big thing. A person been bullied all their life, and I think it comes down to him. With him, he's just been bullying people all his life, and I think once a bully is always a bully, like David and Goliath. Goliath was a big bully. He was very intimidated. People was afraid of him. Man Short came out. David came out, slew the giant. But at the end of the day, we all need to come to the Lord. We need Jesus. We have to go to him first. If we don't know him, we need to get to know him first personally, and pray. I think I've been asked a lot of things, been challenged to give in. But when you pray, and I thank God that I do have parents, that you pray and you give it to the Lord. So whatever you're going through in life, you pray and ask God. A lot of people don't do that no more. Some may do it, some may don't do it. But I think if you pray, God will lead you and guide you in each step. So we have to pray. Whatever decision we make in life, put God first. If we put God first, he would direct our path. So we have to always put God first and ask Jesus to lead us and guide us along the way. Diddy's going to need much prayer, and the young lady's going to need much prayer. But it all boils down to what profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul. So I think, when we have, at the end of the day, good conversation, which, like you said, I can't wait till we come back. But if you have to go to God and pray, and when you do that, you make things easy for yourself. So
all right. T Money, talk to me.
The first question, I want to touch on 3 different things. The first question, I think you said, for those who are in an abusive relationship. When I get asked that question, I always tell people evaluate what you got going on, because there are 2 types of abuse. There's physical and there's mental, verbal abuse. So if it depends on the abuse and how far that abuse has gone, and can it be helped, and can it be turned around, and what are you actually losing? Are there kids involved? So many circles around that, but you have to be grounded. Talk to somebody that you know that's going to keep it real with you. And I've always been known to keep it real. So you also have to keep it real to yourself, but you have to have those that knows the truth so they can tell you, hey, this is not good. This is where you go to get the help. To make a long story short, my thing is, if you are in an abusive relationship, evaluate itself, and get somebody to tell you from the outside looking in, so they can help you really look into what you're trying to do as far as getting out of the abuse. Okay. The next thing I want to touch on, when you say about the redemption, as a person who been there, done that, did for years, I'm gonna say that real quickly. Who am I to judge? Redemption comes from the man who has the powers above. I have none. So there's no way possible that I can sit and judge anybody. Okay. The next thing that I want to touch on is when it comes to your past, you will never outlive your past. You can only embrace your past. Martha Stewart did it. You know what I'm saying? But when you're Black and you have a past like Michael Vick, it tends to sting on us a little bit harder. So it's not going to go anywhere. What you got to do is learn to live with your past and overcome the past and embrace your past and make your past be your future light. So that's all I got to say. I enjoyed the panel. You know
Good
I'm
stuff.
always coming when you call me, so it's all to the good.
That's right. T Money. Tell everybody how they can find you, how they can follow you, and if you guys
You can follow me on Facebook and you can follow me on Instagram up MONI_HFL Hustle for Life. Or you can just come to Atlanta wherever the party at, that's where I'm at.
Sound good, sound good. Jeffrey Miller, tell them how they can follow you, how they can find you, what you got going on. If you got something to offer, present it.
Oh man, you can find me on all social media as the Granddad, TheGrandDad, the Granddad, on all social media except for Snapchat. I'm not snapping, I'm not chatting, I'm too old for that. Honestly, I work a lot now, and I've kind of gotten away from radio and all that stuff, but hopefully I'll make some time to get back into it. This was a lot of fun. But you can find me as the Granddad on social media, or Talk with Jeffrey, Jeffery, on social media. That's it for me.
Very nice, very nice. Tiffany, how can they find you? How can they follow you? And tell them if you got something coming up.
You can find me every Monday on the Kenny Burns Show, TKBS. I am Talk Your Ish Tiff, at Talk Your Ish Tiff, TIFF. Or if you're looking for therapy, whether that's mental health or sex therapy or sex and pleasure intimacy coaching, Tiffany Taylor. I'm on, just Google me, really.
Right, all right. Brother Marcus, how can they find you?
I'm just on Facebook. I'm not really on social media. I only came on because my dear brother called me on, but I'm on Facebook, and I think I am on TikTok. My daughter's got me on TikTok. So other than that, I'm trying to live my private life as I always do.
Hey man, you got to get into these TikTok streets. It's thick. It's happening.
You're right.
I spend my time in TikTok land, so we good. Good. Hazel J, talk to me. How can people find you? How can they follow your work? And if you've got something to present, go for it.
Okay, hello everyone. Thank you again for having me. It was great being here. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook under iGlow Consulting, IGLOW Consulting. You can go to my website, hazelj.com. If you need coaching, art therapy, hypnotherapy, any holistic modalities, I do all of those things really, again, to help families heal, to break intergenerational traumas, trauma bonds, and so forth. So again, I'm Dr. Hazel J, your grief transformation lifestyle coach. Oh, you can also get on my show if you're interested. It's called Get Lit with Dr. Hazel J. And I'm always looking for guests to get on and get lit with me. All right, thank you.
Is that spiritual juice or the joy juice? No, I'm just joking.
She was like, what?
You lost me, yo.
Cleisha, tell them about your show.
Oh, guys, first it was a pleasure. I do a few different things, but you can follow me on all social media platforms at Closing Open Wounds with Cleisha, promoting healing and wholeness in a safe environment. I do my podcast every week. And in addition to that, I am also a praise and worship leader. So if you need someone to come through, your girl got you too. So actually, I'm having a couple of engagements coming up. So your girl got you. If you need me, follow me. And you can also reach me at closingopenwounds@gmail.com.
Are you ever going? Are you going to sing on your show?
Come on, I got my keyboard right here. I got my
I know
keyboard.
me and Elder Marcus, we can get it in. I don't know. I got a few karaoke things from when I was on my cruises. You know, I go on cruises every year. I'm not the best, but I do
Stop
what
what
I
you
do.
doing. You can sing, girl. You know you can sing. Stop what you doing.
Wait a minute. I know you didn't just undercut yourself and just said you was a whole singing, and now you like you do all right. If you don't
You
sing,
know,
girl,
I think if I,
Thank you, doctor. Thank you. I stay humble. I'm humble. God
You
is good.
ready?
God is good.
We're gonna put you on one of these times.
Okay.
All right, Kenya, talk to us about Keepsake. Kenya's Keepsake. Talk to us about your show, your activities, and if you got something to present, let me know.
Yes. Hey. Kenya's Keepsake. You can find me on all platforms. Kenya's Keepsake. My podcast, The Keepsake Corner, where that is the discussion with men uninterrupted, is only on YouTube. Every Saturday it drops. And I go live every Thursday. So right after I get off with y'all, Tips Tea Thursday with your girl, where you do sips and tips with me every Thursday. Fellas Friday. I also mentor youth and I'm a speaker. My signature is mastering conflict resolution. So I tailor that to everybody, youth, churches, organizations, corporations, relationships, because we need to master this conflict resolution. She girl.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Which platform you say you do most of your stuff on?
All of them. And you can find me, Instagram, the Facebook, the Tiki, the Taki, and YouTube. The Snapchat, I don't do the Snapchat.
nobody does.
I like the filters. I ain't gonna lie. I like the little cute filters on Snapchat, but you can find me on all of the other ones. Kenya's Keepsake.
That's what's up. That's what's up. You know, they say that Snapchat is back on the rise now. So yeah, I'm not doing it. I'm not. I don't have time for that.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
You guys, thank y'all so much for being here. You can follow me everywhere. I'm Kelvin Troy Johnson everywhere, as well as Love Coach Atlanta everywhere. If you're in the Atlanta area, you got to come hang out with your boy.
I need to come out there.
Yes, I created something called Love Games. We talking role play. We doing role play, not the kind that Diddy was doing.
Fix it, fix it, fix it, fix it.
I gotta be specific.
Yeah.
we doing dating scenario role play. Okay.
I'll give a call you up too.
We just all those sort of things like speed meeting, and it's taken off really well, and we're going to be in Sandy Springs on the 23rd. So if you're in the Atlanta area, get your people and come out, and it's going to be an amazing time as well. So I have online courses and an online community. I would love for you to inbox me, and I'll send you the link. I'll drop the link. Everything can be found actually on lovecoachatlanta.com. That is the home. That's the host for all the activity. So thank y'all so much for being here. I appreciate seeing all y'all beautiful faces. You are amazing.
Yes, sir.
I can't wait to connect with